Welcome to the Krueg Show, everybody. Hope everybody's having a phenomenal day. Giants, I don't want to say Giants win because they're up 8-2. Giants on the verge of winning. Warriors did win. And it was a rock fight, but somehow they did get the win. And I just killed a moth in the studio here. Look at that. Oh, wait. I thought I killed him. God dang it.
Back vengeance.
Be dead.
Moth is coming from the Casera tea.
You see that?
Yeah.
See that moth?
The moth wanted a piece of that Casera tea.
Yeah, exactly. Then I got moth guts on my sheets. Oh, man. We're off and rolling. Welcome to the Krueg Show, everybody. I'm Larry Krueger. He's Ryan Smith. RSmitty13 on Twitter. All right, let's give the band the rest of the night off. Guys, thanks for the intro. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Here's $5. Cool. Take a walk. All right, we're with you after Warrior basketball and almost after Giants baseball. Giants cruising right now to an 8-2 victory, it looks like. Jake McGee on the hill trying to shut the door. Warriors beat the Grizzlies in one of the ugliest playoff games I have ever seen in my entire life. 101-98. Golden State takes the commanding 3-1 lead into Game 5, which will be Wednesday night in Memphis. Man, this one was ugly. It's like, if you watch the Warriors tonight, I mean, it was pretty clear that, they had no Steve Kerr. He's out with the COVID. Mike Brown was coaching. These don't have anything to do with one another, by the way. I really don't think that Mike Brown is the reason Golden State was flat. Golden State just came out and couldn't shoot, and neither could Memphis. And Golden State had that look, I would say, I don't know, some point in the second or third quarter, I thought to myself, man, they're just gonna kind of play down this entire game. It's not gonna be a beautiful game by any stretch. And then they're going to get into the fourth quarter and try to put a 5-minute high energy run on the Grizzlies. And that's exactly what they did. Golden State finished the ball game on a 10-2 run, and they get the nice win, 101-98, and a game that you could say Memphis did a lot of good things in. Memphis fired. They had no Ja Morant, but Jaren Jackson stepped up. Tyus Jones stepped up. I thought Memphis played really well in this game, but Dylan Brooks, it's funny, the irony, right, of Dylan Brooks, who's the guy who knocked out Gary Payton, and then he knocked out the Grizzlies tonight. He misses a jumper late. To me, Brooks had a couple of bad plays. He had the turnover late. He missed the deep jumper late. And then Jaren Jackson, what's Jaren Jackson doing at the end of the game? I mean, there was 19.5 left on the clock. Jackson came down in a 98-95 game and just hoisted a 3 in traffic. And I don't think Green blocked it, but he definitely bothered it. And it was a horrible shot selection, but I guess that's just kind of par for the course as far as this thing's concerned. Before we bring in our guest of the night, the great Cyrus Satsas, who I see has just popped into the green room after his post-game little stint on the Lockdown Warrior podcast. Give me your quick thought before we go to Cy, right?
First of all, I'm seeing a lot of people bagging on Jaren Jackson for that 3. I didn't necessarily hate it. If I was a Grizzlies fan, because he's a big guy, so he can get it off over people. And also it's like, I mean, if I'm that, I'm just worried that they're going to foul, make it a free throw thing so they don't have a chance at, making a 3-pointer. So I kind of understood where he was coming from on that. Also, I don't know. I think Ian Eagle was a little quick to say that Draymond Green had the block. I think he might have got a little bit of them. But hey, I'm not complaining. No, I mean, that was just a disgusting game. I think what really sums it up is that the Warriors had more points in the fourth quarter than they did in the entire first half. So that and you know what? Steph stepped up, but man, it has been a while since I've really seen this team, like they couldn't get one run going. They couldn't get a single spurt. And I don't really know who's to blame for that, but
Yeah, well, it wasn't pretty for sure, but we now welcome in Cyrus Satsas to the proceedings. The great Dan coach Emilio has entered the green room, ladies and gentlemen. Danny, please do not destroy the green room tonight. I mean, the other night was one thing, but tonight, we can't have you destroying the green room. But we go to Cy. Cy, it was ugly, but Golden State got the win. All that anybody's going to remember is that Golden State got the win. I like Golden State at the beginning of this series in 5. They got a chance to finish it in 5, and this game was not one for the ages. This was the lowest scoring. Did I hear him say that? The lowest scoring first half of an NBA playoff game since 2016. You got to go way back.
That kind of checks out.
It was 41-38 at the half.
Yes.
Villanova with a 3-point lead, I believe. That was an ugly first half. Really not a great basketball game throughout, but Golden State spurted when they needed to, 10-2 run to finish, and that was enough.
It was. Yeah. Welcome to the party. I'm excited.
You're feeling good.
Hell yeah. I mean,
what do you think of this one, Cy? I mean, no Kerr, Mike Brown coached, and the Grizzlies were without Ja Morant with the knee injury. Steven Adams, we wondered about this the other day. Would Steven Adams be Taylor Jenkins' adjustment? Sure enough, he was, and Memphis came out and dominated inside early in this game.
Yeah, there were a couple adjustments. Steven Adams being one of them. Tyus Jones, not a big adjustment, but he was suddenly put in the spotlight, and the guy is comfortable in big moments. Look, I had a take on your show about a month ago. Ryan definitely remembers it because he was giving me like the death stare when I said this, that the Grizzlies are a better team without Ja Morant. And I know it's crazy to say, it is, but all day today people were talking about how the Grizzlies this season were 20-5 without Ja, but they overlooked the fact that they were actually 20-2. And those last 3 losses came at the end of the season when the Grizzlies already had the number 2 seed locked up. That they weren't putting full effort into these games; they were experimenting. So this is and look, 22 games is over a quarter of a season. I mean, that's a solid sample size to kind of have your barometer for how good of a team you're dealing with here. And the Grizzlies, look, man, this is I've been saying this on your show after every game. This is what, like the 8th or 9th show we're doing now in the Warriors postseason, and let's hope it gets to at least 17 or 18. Actually, I'm sorry. You look. I really feel like the Warriors passed their biggest test of the entire season. I really, as those minutes were winding down, and I kept watching that lead just not evaporate as fast as I'd liked. I was saying, really doom and gloom, man. I was like, if the Warriors had lost this game, I would be hitting a panic button right now because this Grizzlies team is a pest. They're long, they're athletic, they don't make mistakes. Dylan Brooks' return made a huge impact. Offensively, he was garbage, but
he was terrible. Yeah,
terrible. But defensively, he was making a huge impact. And the size of him and Bane together was causing the Warriors problems. So look, this was a huge win. Huge. I mean, I really cannot emphasize how big it was because, in my opinion, now the Warriors have officially reached the crest. They've reached, the peak of the mountain, and they're looking down. They're looking down, baby. All they got to do is just ride that double black, not get hurt, and you got your 4th Larry O'Brien in 8 years, man. I'm incredibly confident at this point that the Warriors have this in the bag. They just got to stay healthy and keep doing what they're doing the rest of the way. I mean, Stephen Curry is, as much as you're talking about Chris Paul aiming for that, his first chip. I guarantee you, Stephen Curry, just as much, if not more so, wants that Finals MVP. Man, he sees all the hate, he sees all the criticism, he cares about his legacy tremendously. He knows if he gets that 4th ring, and especially a Finals MVP, which this roster is built for, because you see him carrying the team at the end of every game. I mean, he is the go-to guy in this team, and at 34 years of age with all this experience, I think he's ready to be the guy to carry him and get that Finals MVP, man. And he's going to be a top 10 player at the end of the season. I really believe that.
49ers Minded on the chat says, you killed that moth the same way the Warriors killed the Grizzlies' chances of winning the series. So just before you arrived, a moth the size of Kansas was flying around my studio.
I hate those things, man.
It was a battle.
I hate those things.
It was a battle. It was a battle. I mean, I
hate
hit
it, dude.
I hit it once. I hit it twice. I looked down. it was still alive, and it was kind of laughing at me. It was kind of giving me that.
It was one of those big ones, the furry ones, like those
it was big. It was big.
Oh,
I mean, the remnants of it are still on the paper, if you can see.
I have a weird. My god! I have a weird phobia.
It's a huge moth.
I
don't
like
moth.
Don't
but
like
I prevailed.
The little ones are fine.
I was like the Warriors tonight. You know, there was a hurdle, and somehow I prevailed. Here's the one thing that amazed me about this game, guys. Truly amazed me. You like that one, huh?
Yeah, I like all your stuff.
Thank you. First quarter of the game, Golden State comes out, and they shot 0 for 10 on threes. 0 for 10 for Golden State on threes. Fast forward to the end of the game. Do you know what the Warriors were at the 3-point line in this game against Memphis? They were plus 30. Plus 30.
Oh, no way.
They hit 10, unless I'm looking at that wrong. Plus 30 for Golden State at the 3-point line. An unbelievable turnaround from that first quarter where they just absolutely could not make a three to save their life.
Yeah,
and then they were plus 30 at the end of the game.
Oh, Lars, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a point esser.
What happened?
I think they both made 9.
Oh, you.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm such a point esser. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Okay. Take that entire hot take back. But I'll tell you, I'll give you one more hot take before I throw it to you guys. I thought Otto Porter was huge in this game. I thought Otto Porter has been huge in this series. Yes. I think he had the best plus minus of anybody on the Warriors side coming in. But Otto Porter, I thought, was such a steadying influence in this game. If you go back to the end of the third quarter, and Porter hit a big three to make it 76-67 Memphis. Then he hit another big three to make it 78-72 Memphis. Basically, he kept the team afloat until Steph checked back in with 8:37 left in the fourth. Man, they needed Porter, and he stepped up huge. That's a Bob Myers addition right there. That was a phenomenal addition in the offseason. He's in his prime. He can shoot the three ball at around 45% for his career. And when they needed it, he was there tonight. He was absolutely there.
Great call, dude, because you're right, dude. I mean, that stretch in the third quarter, they were down, 11? I can't remember what it was, where it started to look really bleak. And you're right, man. Otto Porter Jr. hit those 2 massive threes. And keep in mind, Otto Porter Jr. also turned down a mid-level offer from the Brooklyn Nets. He had it. I mean, he could have made more money going to Brooklyn and chose this Warriors team for the vet min. And it's paying off, and you got to give him respect. And I really hope he's one of the guys that the Warriors re-up next year with a big deal, or at least a nice deal that hopefully entices him to stay, because he's incredible, man. They're not in this position without him. Like, no doubt in my mind, man. He has been a huge difference. So good call, brother.
There's another three that another massive three he hit that you're forgetting about.
Which one?
I started just tracking this because I was getting it was at a point of being comical, where they were just missing every three. So I wrote down, so I was like 0 for 11 from 3 and 10 turnovers, 0 for 12 from 3 and 10 turnovers. It got all the way to 0 for 15 and 11 turnovers. It was 36-26, 4 minutes left in the second quarter. We had scored 4 points up to that point in the second quarter. The first 3 of the game, Otto Porter. I wrote down 35-31, 1 for 16, Porter, game. Because I was just like, the second they make a 3, they're going to explode, right? Didn't quite happen that way, but still, man, that was massive. It really was.
An amazing game, really, if you think about it, because it was not Golden State's. It wasn't vintage performance by any stretch by either team, but especially Golden State. Mm-hmm. Their first lead of the night came with 45.7 on the clock.
Incredible. 94-93, right?
That is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, 94-93. When Curry drove and was fouled and he hit both free throws, Golden State went up 94-93 with 45.7 left. I'll say this too. Bane had that one stop against Curry. Curry clearly flopped with the 25.9 left. That was a blatant push. I thought it was a blatant flop. But
did you really blatant? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I thought it was a flop. But it doesn't matter. The bottom line on it, To me, the Brooks was shrunk at the end. I don't know why he suddenly wanted to hoist. He didn't have it. It wasn't his night. Why are you hoisting? And then I mentioned it already to Ryan, the Jackson three at the end there that Green might have gotten a finger on. He definitely bothered the shot. He was like in traffic, deep, way past the 3-point line.
I think he made contact with the ball. I think he did.
Did he make contact with the ball?
He hit his hand.
He didn't. It was a terrible shot, though. At that point, if I'm Jackson's played bully ball with the Warriors, and he moved it down low and got in position multiple times and had a great night. I thought this was a terrific game by Jaren Jackson, but he misses that three at the end. And to me, it's just like you're down 98-95. There's 19 seconds left. Drive in, get a two. Make it 98 and 97 and put a little pressure on Golden State. Instead, he hoists a deep three contested by multiple people. They missed it. Steph ultimately would make a couple more free throws to give Golden State a 5-point lead and basically ice the game at that point. Golden State really finished with that flurry, but this was a ugly rock fight until Golden State found a way to prevail. But nobody's going to remember that at the end of this series. All they're going to remember is Golden State got the win.
And that's it. Just like in 2016 when
just doesn't matter.
It was rigged against the Warriors, but anybody's going to remember is that Cleveland beat them. You're absolutely right, man. It's all about wins and losses. That's the bottom line. There was only one lead change this whole game, and that was at that 43, 45 second mark you're referring to. Two plays stuck out to me, right? And this exasperated my concerns was when Wiggins heaved that three. What is that? Is that me?
That might be Dan Coach. It could be Dan Coach Emilio. Danny has just joined the conversation. Good evening, Dan. Good to see you.
Hey, good evening.
Who's got the noise in the background right now?
TV might be on.
Danny's got the TV.
Just to finish up real quick, just the two plays.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No worries. But Wiggins heaved that three, which brought back haunting memories of last year's play-in when Wiggins' threes were just nowhere near the rim.
That was wild. You talking about the air ball three, basically?
Yes, it hit the backboard.
With a wide open look.
It was ugly. But then on a positive side, though, what about that Jordan Poole play near the end where he just decides to take it all the way in for the two? I mean, that was a huge momentum lifter, really lit the crowd up. The crowd should have been boozing tonight. I don't know what was going on there. They were asleep, man. I don't know what was happening there. But anyways, Coach, floor is yours.
Dan Coach Emilio joins us. Danny, we just saw the Giants come away with an 8-2 win. We just saw the Warriors, win what I'm describing as a rock fight, 101-98. But hey, it's a double win, baby. And you're representing both the Giants and the Niners. You've got our Giants and the Warriors. You've got the Giant hat and the Warrior T-shirt.
There we go.
I'm repping Caceres. Sai's got, what do you got going? What are you rolling with, Sai?
Some surf brand,
Surf brand, and Ryan, who's sober tonight.
Yep, average gray T-shirt.
Just an average gray T-shirt. Now we have full account of what everybody's wearing. Welcome to the Academy Awards. All right, Danny, what did you think of either game? We'll let you take free for all here. You can go in any direction you want.
Of course, I had the Warriors on the big TV and was watching the Giants game on my phone. So that shows you the importance of where we're at.
That's big for you, Danny. That's big for you. The Giants went on the phone and the Warriors on the big TV.
Oh yeah, well, playoffs.
That's an executive decision.
Yeah, playoffs. This was, but boy, that was a ugly first half, and they just were so out of rhythm. But give credit. I think the key was, as I was watching this, I think the key was inserting Adams and Jackson into the starting lineup for Memphis. It gave them extra length. They were able to get the ball in down low. Adams just, he's a mover. Man, that guy just moves people in the paint. And you see that one play toward the end. I think it was a layup for Memphis where he was screening Porter. Porter couldn't have got away from him if his life depended on it. He was It looked like Trent Williams on a lead block. I mean, it was amazing. But Memphis was playing really good defense and disrupting the Warriors' passing lanes all night. They were getting hands on the ball, and they play a different brand of basketball without Ja, and it's I didn't think the Warriors were going to pull it out at one point when they were down like 11 or 12.
Same.
And
Same,
it
Coach.
just looked like, oh my goodness, and I thought, well, they better, it's just, but the vets pulled it out, and but it was a wonderful.
Yeah,
great
how
game,
far back in the game did Golden State have that, or did Memphis have that 12-point lead?
That was I've got it right now. It was
Right?
It was 74-64.
76-64.
Okay, so Jaren Jackson, after he got fouled by Otto Porter, hit a couple free throws. That made it 12.
Yeah.
And that's when Klay checked into the game for Porter, I believe.
92.8%. It got to 94.3% win probability after Steven Adams blocked Poole's shot.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Thought,
it's an amazing turnaround for Golden State.
That shot at the end, was at the end of the third that
End of the half.
wild three by Baines.
Yes, that was the end of the third. Correct.
And
Coach.
and I thought,
Bain hit the ridiculous runner.
I thought
they made a few of those this series.
But it was overall, the Warriors were fortunate, but I'll tell you, I think Memphis, they win those games in Minnesota because Minnesota's actually more out of control than Memphis. And here, the fourth quarter, they blow the games because of experience. And
that's where I have to push back a little bit on Cy with the Ja Morant thing, because I think maybe that could be a little more true in the regular season, but in the playoffs, like you could say, like, yeah, maybe they play a little more free, better defense, and more size. But when it gets down to crunch time, that's when they need Ja. You know what I mean? Like Dylan Brooks was trying to do his own impression.
Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong, Ryan. I'm much happier that Memphis doesn't have Ja.
Fight.
But, but I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, like if you went through a whole season and you had with Ja, without Ja, and you were able to prepare, like the Memphis Grizzlies are one of the best defensive teams in the NBA when Ja is not on the court. But at the same time, you're absolutely right. The postseason's different. The Grizzlies did have a minus 50 when Ja was off the floor entering the game tonight. So I'm not disputing that, but I am saying, like, in the regular season, at least, the Grizzlies were certainly a better team. I mean, all the metrics showed it, it's just, but yeah, you're right. At this moment, I'd rather have a Ja Morant not on the court. Yeah, I'm with you there.
What also hurt Memphis in this game, first of all, Tyus Jones was terrific.
41 minutes.
Terrific.
Yeah. He was really
Tyus Jones filled up the stat sheet, right? I mean, he had 19, but didn't he have a bunch of boards and a bunch of assists as well?
Yes,
Tyus Jones was huge. The guy who I thought kind of gagged it a little bit for Memphis was Anderson, missing all those free throws. I mean, he missed 5 free throws, 6 free throws. I mean, you're not a 7-footer. I mean, you're a forward. I mean, you don't expect your forward to miss 5 or 6 free throws in a game. I thought that he let them down. I thought Brooks let them down. Brooks has acted like he doesn't have the hot hand, which he doesn't. And then suddenly he made one shot and he got kind of courageous. He started hoisting, and it was like, no. Dude, what are you doing? If you're a Memphis fan, Brooks missed that jumper, and it was just really a bad look. And then he had a turnover in the fourth quarter. So I thought Brooks contributed to their loss. I thought Anderson's free throws contributed to their loss. I thought Jaren Jackson, guys, to be totally honest, Jaren Jackson is the big man right now inside, right? What is he, 6'11"? He's got hops, he's got athleticism. Why, when you have that kind of a physical mismatch on the block, are you taking 7 threes? And he missed all 7. So to me, Jaren Jackson, when he gets back and looks at that box score, has got to think, wow, man, I probably should have put it on the deck a few more times and played more bully ball and took it right to the hole, because he's got a nice 3-point shot, but Sai, you probably know the percentage. What do you think Jaren Jackson shoots from beyond the arc? It's not high, right? It's not
37 probably.
Is it that high?
Something like that.
Oh, okay.
Kyle Anderson, his 3-point percentage for the season was 32.
32 for the season.
But in the postseason, it's gone up to 42. Kyle Anderson's, I did not realize how bad of a free throw shooter he is. During the regular season, he was at 63.8%. But in the postseason, entering tonight's game, he was shooting 89%, and then he just laid those eggs. At the same token, though, as much of a liability as he was from the line, he was fantastic from the field tonight. He went 7 for 8. He was getting a lot of big rebounds. He finished with 17 points, 8 boards. But Kyle Anderson's always a pest. Like, even when he played for the Spurs, I remember him just really being a nuisance against the Warriors because he's got size. What's up?
He'd be a good Warrior.
Kyle Anderson, I would love him with the Warriors.
Like potentially even the next like Sean Livingston or something.
I mean, he's a long, tall 6'9", and then it was crazy. You're right. Jaren Jackson just heaving those threes, but again, Klay Thompson was awful from 3 too. Klay Thompson was 0 for 7, just like him.
Klay Thompson had another rough game. By the way, Jaguayo56 is making a donation. He says, Krueg, this was a physical, tough, old-fashioned playoff game. The Grizzlies were desperate. They knew this was the game they absolutely needed. Well, I mean, they came. I'll tell you the other thing that caught me a little bit off guard. Did you guys see the Grizzlies walk from their bench into the locker room and the pronounced limp that Ja has on that knee? I mean, make sure
he's out. Yeah, he's not coming back.
You don't think he's coming back?
I had Connor Letourneau on Locked On Warriors this morning.
He's out for the year?
I mean, he's out for this. He's out for this.
He's out for the series?
He's out for this series. Yeah, I would not expect him back for this series.
Wow.
Yeah, do not count on him playing. Yeah,
didn't see that coming.
It would surprise me, honestly, if the Grizzlies escape the fine for the whole injury report thing, because they're hiding this the way the Celtics hid Kevin Garnett's knee injury in the 2009 playoffs. I don't know if you remember that, where the Celtics were on track to repeat as world champions, and then all of a sudden in the playoffs, Kevin Garnett has this mystery knee thing. They never revealed what it was. We never did find out what it was, even to this day. And I'm seeing echoes of that here. Yeah, he's not coming back, man. So the Grizzlies, I think, are done. I think this series is going to be 5 or 6. I went with 6. You went with 5. They got the series, man. Tonight was it. I really do believe that. You don't
think it's coming back to Golden State? You think they're going to end it in Memphis?
It might, but I think the series is over. It would shock me if the Grizzlies pull this out at this point. But at the third quarter, I was with Coach, man. I mean, at the end of the third quarter, even like at the 6-minute mark of the fourth quarter, I was sweating bullets. That was a nerve-wracking game. The Grizzlies played them tough tonight. This was a good old-fashioned grinded out playoff game. It really was.
Yeah. I thought Ja looked like he might be out when that visual of him on the bench on Saturday when he laid back on the chair and he was like almost exasperated. He looked, and it was like, when you see a player like that, they know it's something bigger than just a little bruise or something that's going to go away.
What is the injury?
It's a knee.
It might be a patella maybe or something, or.
So what it actually reminds me of, I think, is a good comp, and actually is a good comp, the actual series, is remember when Steph obviously beat the Nuggets, and then he gave the Spurs everything that Spurs team that ended up going on to win the championship. They split 1-1 in San Antonio. He was incredible. Honestly, they should have won both games. They blew that one. And then Curry turned his ankle. And it's just that he had he was still dealing with the thing where he just would turn his ankle and whatever. And then he wasn't quite the same. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that. If we're now the Spurs, they're kind of the up and comers. And I think that Ja was dealing with a left knee injury during the year, right knee injury during the year. I think he just has like a little bit of knee issues and they just got re-aggravated. And that's why he was so frustrated. The same way like Steph would be, if he re-injured his ankle. So
what did you guys think of Kevin Fontana here in the text strand who says Damian Lee getting minutes over Jonathan Kuminga is questionable? I thought it was interesting that Brown pulled Kuminga and put Looney back in, but obviously Adams had an impact on that. That was probably to match up with Adams a little bit bigger, with a bigger body. But what did you guys think? I mean, I didn't think we were going to see Damian Lee at all. And Kuminga started this game. Porter did start that third quarter. Cy, why don't we start with you? What did you think of Lee getting the minutes over Kuminga?
I was honestly frustrated a little bit because in a game like this where a team like the Warriors relies so much on outside shooting, when those shots aren't falling, And that's really what was going on. They were just, I don't know what the reason was. I mean, again, Klay went 0 for 7. Wiggins was clanking left and right. He went 1 for 5 from 3. Jordan Poole went 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. So, I mean, they were not hitting their outside shots. And in a moment like that, and this has always been the one concern of the Warriors, is they don't have a relatively large inside score. Like, they don't have someone that you can post up and get easy buckets, right? And I thought Kuminga could do that, because the Warriors' 3 best post players are Kuminga, Bjelica, and Gary Payne II, as crazy as that sounds. But GP2's out for the playoffs. Bjelica, for some reason, has just fallen out of favor. I even actually finally asked, I don't know if I brought this up with you, but I finally asked Steve Kerr about that. And Kerr gave me like a very typical dance around. It was just a brilliant coach speak.
He didn't answer.
A total non-answer. Yeah. And it just had to do with him just, like he was alluding to Bjelica just not being fast enough. Probably
especially
being a defensive liability.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I thought Bjelica could have been used tonight because this was not a fast-paced game. And I thought, given this was a slog, Kuminga's athleticism, his size, his post-up game, which he's incredibly developed at 19 years of age, I thought that would have been welcomed. I thought Bjelica's post-game would have been welcomed. But, they went with Damian Lee, and it's hard to complain when you win, but I do feel like the Warriors would have won a little more comfortably if we saw more Kuminga and more Bjelica.
Jimmy Mollet, my fraternity brother from Sac State, says,
yeah.
On an unrelated note, why does Jake McGee feel the need to make tonight's game so exciting? Danny, I'll say I taped, this is my, you said you had Giants on the phone, Warriors on the big TV. I went Warriors on the big TV, and I kind of went all Warriors. I had Giants on the phone following along, and I probably only watched maybe 3.5, 4 innings of Giants baseball tonight. But I did tape both so I could see them. But it's playoffs, and it's getting down to it. So I saw some of the scoring early. But what do we see from McGee late? I mean, Giants attacked on to their total tonight, but was McGee as Jimmy relates to us, a sideshow, or what? What did you think of McGee?
He just, they were hitting him, and he was a little wild, and he didn't have his stuff again. He did get one up to 97, and Krueg was saying, hey, if he gets up there that high, he's getting his mechanics down, because he's been under 94 all year. And so they're saying if he gets up to that 95, 6, 7, 8 plus, where he's used to being, that means he's getting his mechanics worked out. So, but they were still hitting him, and they were warming up Duvall with 2 out. And I think if he didn't get the last batter out, it would have brought the tying run to the plate. And I think they were going to yank him and bring in Duvall. So, because they went into the 9th inning ahead 8-2, and it ended up, was it 8-4 or 8-5? I think it was 8-5.
8-5. Was it 8-5 the final? I did see, Rodon went 6 and he struck out 12. 110 pitches for Rodon. They extended him. They sent him back out there in the 6th inning. He leads the major leagues now with 53 strikeouts. Couple other Warrior comments here in the chat that are pretty interesting. Itchy95 said, saw on Twitter someone hinting that the way the Warriors played, maybe Kerr wasn't the only one with COVID. But that was kind of interesting. I don't know if that's
shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
Who knows? I mean, who knows? I mean, that's one of those things. And then Dossie says, what can the Warriors do to get off to better starts? And he's specifically said, looking ahead to Game 5. He said these slow starts are happening far too often.
Yes.
Rye, what do you think? Cy, what do you think? Danny, what do you think? I mean, the Warriors now, it seems like the slow starts are kind of the norm almost.
I mean, they always kind of have been, right? I do kind of think that the Warriors are a little bit like that boxer that's like, sort of feels you out, because it just, no lead feels insurmountable. And then, they go on the avalanche run. But, if I could be a little negative here, because I know, it's I mean, I'm happy they won and all. Some stuff I noticed that I'm a little worried about.
Is that since this show has started or in one of the games tonight?
Wait,
that you're concerned. What are you concerned about, Ryan? What's got you worried?
I'm concerned about so just watching Steph, and I know maybe he's not 100% back from his injury or whatever, but he had a good fourth quarter, but he's getting kind of alarming how, he'll get like all of a sudden he's switched out, like Steven Adams is on him at the 3-point line, single covered, and he's not really able to get by him.
No, he did. I don't know, Ryan. He got by him. Every time he did that, I was paying attention to that too. Every time that would happen, and he would get by Adams, but Jaren Jackson was learning
barely, and then there'd be help, and then he would make kind of a crappy pass.
Yeah,
so
there was always help.
It's because of the length. Their arms.
Yeah, exactly.
The passing lanes were all clogged tonight, and that's why you saw, a lot of turnovers or even balls that they deflect and go out of bounds. And I think that was throwing them off, is having two basically 7-footers out there. That
agreed.
And that was definitely affected. You could see it. Memphis's whole game plan was to stop them on the perimeter and then have a big guy at guarding, in the paint.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why Memphis is kind of a tough matchup for them, is just because they have so much length, they have so much athleticism, which is a reason why, Kuminga, I like Kuminga being out there just because it gives them somebody it just gives them an athlete that can, get some fast breaks and just get some.
I agree. I was very shocked that Lee, not only Lee played, but he played for a long time. It seemed like he got a lot of minutes. And
he lost Adams on 2 out of the first 3 plays of the game defensively, and I think that's kind of what Mike Brown. Mike Brown, Steve Kerr might stick with him, but I think Mike Brown doesn't quite have the same luxury of rolling the dice with the rook. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just a little worried matchup wise going forward. Maybe this is just. Maybe they're going to match up better against the Suns. Suns are a little more of a slower, older team, but
much better. Yes.
Yeah.
Dude,
okay.
The Suns are,
So don't worry about it.
The Suns are having a hard time. They got to worry about the Mavericks right now.
There's not even a lock that it will be the Suns.
Exactly.
Massive bet on the Suns series.
This Grizzlies team.
Ryan's thinking with his cash.
Yeah.
This Grizzlies
team. Go see Dan Coach
Warriors.
Emilio and save some of that money. What do you think of Philip Collado in the text strand here? He says Otto Porter needs to start the next game. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Yeah, I like that idea too.
I like it, and another reason for that is because for some reason, and I don't understand it, but Kerr and or Mike Brown, when they start Kuminga, because they've started him repeatedly throughout the season, but he has a very short leash. So if he has a slow start, they don't give him a chance to develop a rhythm, to find himself in the game. Like if he's struggling early on, they just give up and they put him on the bench and they're like, "We'll see you next game, Rook." And I don't like that. I don't agree with it. But that's what they're doing. They prefer going with the tried and true, the veterans, the players they trust more. So I like it. I don't think that's a bad idea. Otto Porter Jr. is built for this series, clearly. He's thriving in this matchup. He is the antithesis to what Memphis brings in terms of length and athleticism. Otto Porter's got the same. He's a big boy at 6'8" and 240, I think it's about 240. So yeah, start him and bring Kuminga off the bench, and maybe that'll work out better for him.
What do you guys think, Danny and Ryan? Because I love the look that you got to remember about Porter. Kuminga's a kid. Kuminga's not in the prime of his career. He's two full years away from even entering that prime. Porter is in his prime. He's in the prime years of his career. I'm going with Porter. I'm riding with Porter.
I think the primary reason they don't start him is because they want him to be there more as a shooter with the second unit. Because when Curry's off the floor and, maybe it's Poole and Klay and Porter, they like to have at least 3 shooters. Because if you've got Green and Kuminga out there with all that length, it's easier for Memphis to clog up the passing lanes.
True.
And they just, tonight without Ja, they weren't able to get him into pick and rolls, That's what they try to do is, isolate Ja a lot on defense. And with tonight, with Adams out there and Jackson and Anderson, those are 3 lengthy, and Baines, those are guys that all, are 6'7", 6'8",
yep.
and the other 2 guys 6'11". So I think that's probably why Porter was not starting, and Kuminga provided a little athleticism and also gives them a chance to get into the game in the beginning and see how the game goes. And it gives Porter a little bit of freshness for later in the game. If you start Otto and you wear him down, and then maybe he's not as available, I don't know. I'm just thinking.
No, that's a fair
Coach.
That's a fair assessment because Otto Porter Jr. is on a minutes restriction even now in the postseason.
Right.
They don't want to risk his foot injury flaring up or give him problems. Right. So that's a great call. You're absolutely right, and that's also why I think Bielitsa is a player that could thrive with this new Grizzlies team they're facing without Ja because they're slower. If you actually look at the track record of Bielitsa against the Grizzlies, I don't have the numbers. I looked it up a little while ago, but there's this whole highlight package on YouTube of Bielitsa owning the Grizzlies. Like he's dunking on them, he's blocking shots, and he's a 3-point threat. So that whole clogging coach you were just talking about, Bielitsa could space that open a little more because when Bielitsa's out there in the 3-point line, you're not leaving him alone. They got to put a man on him. So I'm just curious why even in this series he's not getting time, but I agree 100%.
Are you guys, Jaguayo 56 is making a second donation here. He says, amazing how great our rebounding is against the Grizzlies. I mean, that also jumped out. Let's look at those numbers for a second. Golden State was +6 on the glass. Memphis won the points in the paint by 14, 56-42. But Golden State, even without, even without any real bigs to speak of, to me, if there's one thing that if you said, look, let's just say this is the series and Golden State's going to get another game and finish off Memphis, whether it comes in 5 or 6, we'll see. But let's just say this series is decided already. The thing that shocks me is how well Golden State has rebounded as a team in this series. To me, that's the biggest surprise. How do you guys see that? Is that as surprising to you guys? I guess I'll throw it to you that way, as it is to me, that Golden State going up against this big Grizzlies team that Jaren Jackson's 6'11", Adams is a big boy as well. They've got some rugged
Xavier
guys
Tillman
rebound the ball. Yeah. Xavier Tillman, the Michigan State kid's big. He didn't play. Yeah. But I mean, on paper, you would have thought, man, Memphis is going to control the glass in this series. That has not been the case in any game. Yeah,
it's pretty shocking. I mean, I got to say, I think we're not giving enough love to Wiggs. Like, he tripped that 3, but man, he's been so big boarding, man. How many like tip outs, on these missed 3 long, that's the only kind of thing I could theorize is like, is it partially because, we're shooting way more 3s and those just have a little bit of a higher variance in terms of like, possibly getting batted around, and I don't know, but yeah, Wiggins. I thought Wiggins was great today. I love what he's doing. I mean, I feel like there was a couple times where like he made a bucket when we really needed it, and when our guys couldn't get it going. And I don't remember if I said it on this. I might have just said it to Larry in a pre-pod thing. I got so jealous of Bill Simmons' take about Wiggins that he's like a house cat. It's like he's like all of us. It's like You love the cat, whatever, but it's like the cat decides when it wants to be loved by you.
Yeah.
It goes and does its own thing, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the cat's on my lap and we're watching TV together. This is so nice. Oh, maybe the personality's changed, and then it's just what's kind of how it is with Wiggins. But no, I thought he was great, and then other guys rebounding. I mean, I think they're all pretty opportunistic. I mean, I really can't explain it. It's pretty insane.
Did he have 8 rebounds or something?
Steph for the 5. Night. What did you say? 5. Yeah,
with 8 assists. But he does. I mean, Steph is an underrated
rebounder. Yeah, he's a very underrated rebounder. I mean, I'll tell you the one thing too is the only thing I guess that you say, well, let's take a look at Golden State and look beyond Memphis. How do they look as far as title contenders? I mean, obviously they lost Peyton. That hurts. But and they're not getting him back. Though they are. That's right? They're not getting him back.
Not officially.
He could come back if they make the finals.
He could come back in the finals?
Possibly.
Okay. Wow. I didn't even know that, but I was just kind of.
I wouldn't count on it. I
kind of heard some people suggest that maybe he could be back. Well, let's just assume that he's gone. Okay, that's obviously the concern number 1. Concern number 2 is Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is hard to figure. It's weird. Sometimes he gets, quick looks, and you almost feel better about his quick looks than when he makes a move and then hoists. Like he's still. I mean, he's an incredible shooter. He used to be an incredible shooter off the dribble and catch and shoot. Now he seems like he's more reliable on the catch and shoot, especially if it's catch and quick release where he has no time to think about it. Am I overanalyzing Klay? I mean, give me all three of you guys. Give me your thoughts on what you think we're seeing from Klay Thompson and what you think we'll see going forward the rest of these playoffs. Not in the future, like down the road next year, but just right now. What do you think he's got left?
I think you always have to temper expectations with him, just because even before the injury, he played like this. Like, he was a streaky player. For every amazing hot night, he'd have nights like this where he's putting up 14 points, right? It's, for his career scoring average is right around 20. But I don't remember ever going 0 for 7 from 3. That's an anomaly. But I'll say this. He did hit that huge corner shot, which I thought was a 3, actually, in hindsight. I don't know if you remember that. It was a drawn up play.
Yeah. It's in front of the Grizzlies bench, right?
But I thought it was a cool. His foot must have been on the line.
85, 83. I think it was. I think his foot was on the line.
I think his foot was on. Danny's right. I think his foot was on the line.
But that was a huge
looking
shot.
Right down at it.
Yeah, but it was still a big shot. I mean, you saw Dylan Brooks actually had called it out just a split second before the play, and he beat him to the punch. But he did have 7 rebounds for the night. He did make some clutch twos. There were a few plays where he was doing those spin moves. Those spin fadeaways are just beautiful shots. I mean, it was nothing but net there. It's one of those things where if you're counting on him to carry your team, then it's a huge shrug of the shoulder and a question mark. But he did play good defense. He wasn't counted on to defend a John Morant type tonight. It was more like either Tyus Jones or Dylan Brooks or Desmond Bane. I saw him on Kyle Anderson a lot. He can handle those kinds of matchups. So as long as you see him as like a small forward who's not the athletic Klay, but at the same time he hits big shots. And I don't know. And on another note, by the way, I want to throw this out there too, as in terms of the rebounding edge. And what's really surprised me is one player I thought for Memphis that would really stand out is Brandon Clark. And the Warriors
21 and 15 last round in one of those games.
The Warriors have been masterful. I don't know what the recipe is there, but they've been masterful and basically just completely taken him out of the series. Like tonight, he only played 11 minutes, no offensive rebounds. And he's really like the guy you think of the most for offensive rebounds. Did have 4 total, but that's impressive. I don't know what the recipe is there, but the rebounding edge is incredible. I don't think anyone would have predicted that. Anyone. I'll be shocked if we found one person that said, yeah, the Warriors are going to win the rebounding battle in this series. I will find that, please, because the more I'm saying that, the more I'm realizing I don't think anyone did. Anyone.
It really is a great point, because if you watch Brandon Clark, I mean, if you said who are the bust out players in these playoffs, you would say Jordan Poole, and you'd probably say Tyrese Maxey, right? Tyrese Maxey for the Sixers. You would say
Mavericks.
Who's that?
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, Jalen. Good call, Danny. Jalen Brunson with the Mavericks, and Brandon Clark. And yet in this series, Brandon Clark, I don't want to say hasn't been heard from, but they've done a good job at kind of negating what he does, I love that player. I would love to see the Warriors get Brandon Clark. How great would he be in this up tempo? Everybody works off the ball, and he can run the floor, and you don't have to call any plays for him. He can just get his in transition off the glass. I mean, in some ways, I feel like Clark would be a perfect player for Golden State. But to me, if Golden State goes on and wins this series, one of the factors will be that Brandon Clark, who went off against Minnesota, did not go off in this series in any game.
One of my concerns from tonight is watching that, Klay, getting back to Klay, he's great when he's got open looks coming off a screen and he can square up and he doesn't even have to dribble, or he can get one dribble up and shoot. But tonight, they were all over them on the perimeter, even Curry. And here's what concerns me. With the way they played the defense tonight, Memphis, if Phoenix does go on to win the series, they may face Ayton and McGee at the same time.
JaVale. Yeah, JaVale's playing well for the Suns.
Because if you can trap those guys with the length out top and they cannot do the drive to the hoop because there's another shot blocker down there. This is the first time that the Warriors were not able to. How many shots were blocked at the hoop tonight? 8, 10 shots?
It was 10, yeah.
Yeah. They were, Jordan Poole got smoked a few times. Klay, when Curry, that ball that almost could have been a jump ball when he fell out of bounds with the ball. I thought he was fouled with the body. I mean, they kind of smashed him. And then another call, getting on calls. I thought that was a charge tonight, and I think against Draymond. I thought
Draymond, yeah.
Draymond, I think he was there. The challenge play. Jackson put his elbow into Green, and Draymond he beat him to the spot, even though he was still moving. He beat him to the spot, and then Jackson put an elbow in him. I almost think it was not overturned because Green was in the officials' faces again all night long.
It's amazing what he gets away with as far as volatility, and he must, whatever he's saying, he must be demonstrating some measure of control, because his nonverbal looks totally out of control. But obviously, what he's saying, the content of his message, is being digested by the officials, and he has such respect, I think, around the league. I know a lot of people feel that that's not the case, but I think it is. I think he's known as a heady, smart player by the people in the know, and so I think they give him a wider berth to complain. But I also bet you, if we could hear his complaints, that it's a lot less swearing and a lot more content. And I think that's probably what
content. Yeah.
He's nonverbal, though. He looks enraged, and you're thinking, oh, for sure they're going to tee him up. But you know what? His content of his message must be enough to at least make them, because he always gets a dialogue going back and forth with the officials, and they give him a pretty wide berth. I mean, that's my perspective on it. Yeah.
Another thing that was bugging me as I was watching the game, especially after halftime, I was starting to think Mike Brown just seemed so laid back and was just watching this game, and he just seemed like, he was on the bench. Kerr, you see always up and down the sideline. Yes. And I was thinking, I didn't see really any adjustments at halftime. They came out, and it was still, Memphis was still stuffing them.
Well, they went with Porter. That was one adjustment. He went with Porter to begin with. The only adjustment, really.
But I mean, there was no. You didn't see any new screens set that were allowed guys to get open off the ball, and they would try to do backdoors, and they would throw a bounce pass, and it would get picked off or whatever. It just seemed like I just think Kerr may have really been missed more than we give credit.
I think what you're saying, Danny, is that Mike Brown is not coming back to this coaching staff next year. If you have anything to say about it, is that what you're saying, Danny?
I'd send him to Sacramento first.
Send him. Look at that! And like he's in Sacramento.
He's going to be begging to come back. He's going to be begging to come back in a few years. I'm pretty confident of that. And look, Draymond is a very astute player. I mean, when he's having these conversations with the refs, these refs, first of all, coach, it bothers me to no end. You're absolutely correct, but it bothers me to no end that the referees take like all these little things like behaviors into account when all they should be focusing on is the play at hand, right? But it's really annoying that they do that. But you're correct, they do. They're egotistical. They love the camera on themselves. So when every time Draymond's talking to them, I think the refs know, like, oh, I'm getting my camera time. Yeah, come on, Draymond, let's have a conversation. Sure. And I really do think they're shallow in that regard. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a strong assumption on my part. It's crazy. I want to propose something to you guys, though. This is something that's been bothering me, speaking of officials. I'm going to throw this take out. I love your take. Did
you guys watch the Krueg show last night? There was a proposal. Okay, no, go ahead.
Was it really?
No, I'm just joking. I'm saying that you're making a proproposal.
Go ahead, Si. It was.
Go ahead.
But,
could you imagine if somebody proposed marriage on this show? That would be, that would be would not be good.
You think back to the 90s, right? When Michael Jordan was at the apex of his powers, and the one gripe people had about him, with the exception of the few haters out there, but he was almost universally respected, if not loved. But the one gripe was that he oftentimes would get calls in his favor from the refs, right? was a complaint. Like, he always gets the calls, the refs favor him, there's a bias toward him, but it wasn't, people accepted it. And for some reason, and we've seen this with LeBron, we've seen this not as much with Kobe, and maybe that's Kobe and Draymond have a similar kind of temperament when it comes to officials, but it bothers me that when it comes to calls that are questionable, that are like a 50-50, I don't know if it's going to go one way or the other, I don't feel like the Warriors get the respect that a team that went off a 5-year historic run like they did should deserve. And what I mean by that is, when you think about who the best basketball minds are in this world, who the best players are in this world, it's the ones who reach that ultimate goal, the championship. And I do think when you reach that goal for 5 straight years, winning 3 of them, you should be getting the benefit of the doubt from the refs. I'm not saying the refs should just favor them, but in calls where it's questionable, where it's like, it could go one way or the other, I feel like the Warriors are disrespected and not getting the benefit of the doubt from the officials, given they've shown to the world they're the best at what they do, and they've earned that benefit of the doubt.
I'll piggyback that by saying that not only do they not get the benefit of the doubt side, but they actually changed a rule that Steph used to draw all kinds of fouls on, where now it's like, he's moving around east, west, and all kinds of, he's got great movement ability, and he can shoot off the catch or off the bounce. And so he can get to any spot he wants to get to on the open floor and then quickly hoist. Well, now, if somebody's moving towards him and he kind of moves into them, they're not calling that anymore.
Right.
He's not giving him that anymore. So I actually don't mind that, because I didn't like seeing that kind of basketball. I don't want to see him drawing fouls on deep threes, like leaning in like that. But I agree with you, though. I think your premise is totally right. I don't see them getting, and then you mentioned Jordan. I would actually go further back and bring up Magic. To me, Magic Johnson was the guy that used to be able to, and why do I remember it? Because it was so many times it was against Golden State. He'd back in on the hip, backing you in, a little bit left, a little bit right, a little bit left. Foul on Sleepy Floyd. You know what I mean? Or, Magic would back you in, put it up, and it would roll around the rim. And if it rolled off, whoop, here's the whistle. And if it fell, no whistle. So it almost felt like he was getting calls. Like he had and Bird the same way. Bird had a way to draw fouls. And it's like, I don't know if they don't have a player like that. Thompson doesn't seem like he gets those calls. I agree. No. Curry doesn't seem like he gets those calls. Those would be the 2 guys that you would think would get those calls.
Curry, in my opinion, I've said this for years, that Curry has been the most disrespected player by the officials in basketball for a superstar. I mean, look at the amount of calls that Harden gets to the line versus Curry.
Or Paul, even. Chris Paul gets a ton of
Chris
calls.
Paul, yeah. And, and I think it's because Steph doesn't say a lot. He'll get his frustrations at times, but he's not in the official's ear constantly like some of those guys like Paul.
And he's better getting the ball off. So, like, if you get the ball off, sometimes I feel like you don't get the call as much.
But where they miss the calls is on the body. They may not. The refs seem to look at. I used to officiate basketball, high school basketball, and the calls that constantly get overlooked are body shots. Curry gets floored and he gets the ball. They don't hit his hand, but they knock him flying. That's a foul.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he doesn't get those calls. Jim Mollet here, my buddy from Sac State, who in this picture looks an awful lot like I will say maybe kind of like a little Fidel Castro-ish right there. Does that?
Yeah, there's a cousin of Castro.
Is there? Am I seeing Fidel Castro and my buddy? Anyway, he donates $20. This is a pretty good question, though. He says, assuming the Dubs move on, who would you rather face, Phoenix or Dallas, and why? Now, on the first blush, I think most people would say, oh, my God, are you kidding me? Give me the Mavericks every day of the week over Phoenix. But Dallas is starting to heat up. They didn't look good when Luka was out. Then Luka came back, and everybody looked like on the Mavericks guys was like caught watching Luka. So it took a couple games before Dallas started to play well with Luka, but now Dallas has won a couple in a row. It's a 2-2 series going into the game 5. at anybody's series, and Dallas looks pretty damn good right now to me. Now, maybe I'm giving too much credence to, maybe I'm, what's the old saying, recency bias. Maybe I'm looking too much at the last couple of games. I think I'd rather see Dallas than Phoenix, but at the beginning of that series, I would have said, hell yeah, give me Dallas. Now I'm like, I guess I'd rather play Dallas, I guess. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and Dallas, and Sai, you probably had the numbers. How did Dallas do against Golden State this year? Didn't they do pretty good against the Warriors?
Well, the problem is it's just like almost all the head-to-heads. Like Dallas won the head-to-head. They owned the tiebreaker, but I think it was 3-1, but the Warriors didn't have players for, I think, all of them. It's crazy how the way the Warriors rolled this season, they never had their complete team until right when the playoffs started, which is such an advantage, by the way. And Coach, I'm sure you could attest to this, that how do you can't base your game plan off memory because this is such a different team. So you have to go rely on film and whatever you can at that point. But it's hard to tell. I will say this though. I would much prefer the Mavericks because in those head-to-head matchups, even in the losses, with the Warriors, oftentimes we're missing Draymond, missing Steph, maybe missing both. They were keeping those games very close. Like those are tight games. The Mavericks never blew them out. So even look, Luka Doncic is, who knows what the ceiling is for this kid, right? I mean, if he ever decides to actually take his physical conditioning seriously, I mean, we could see the next LeBron type player there. But until he does, we're still going to see greatness, just not at that level. My point is, I don't think anyone wants to face him, but the Mavericks are not a big team. And I think the way the roster is set up for the Mavericks, this is exactly the type of matchup the Warriors would want and would thrive. So I would 100% take the Mavericks, 100%. Like I could see a sweep in that, gentleman's sweep maybe. Whereas the Suns, I still am comfortable with beating them, but the Suns are deep. And as Coach mentioned a moment ago, the Twin Tower potential of Aiden and McGee, I don't want to see that. I'd rather see Dallas. So Mavericks for me.
And they also have a third guy. What's that guy? Biyombo or
yes, Biyombo, correct.
Yeah,
Biyombo.
Yeah. So here's my take. By the way, here's my take. I agree with Sai on that as far as playing the Mavericks but the biggest reason I would like to play the Mavericks is you get home court advantage, and you only have to win 3. You can get away with if you have to win only one road game, and it allows you to lose one at home and still get game 7 if you had to. So for that reason, I definitely want Dallas for the home court. Dallas was trying really hard for that 3 spot, and Luka was suspended with his 16th tee for the final game, and they appealed it.
Correct.
And then he goes and gets hurt, and he hurts his calf on the last day because they were trying to get that 3rd spot because, it could turn out to be the home court advantage in the finals.
Guys, we are going to Jay Hutch says from Murfreesboro, have we gotten to Giants talk yet? And the GTC Reels said, no, Sai is still here, so no. And then someone said, hey, wait a second, there's been like a minute of Giants talk, but it's the NBA playoffs. Who cares about baseball right now? And then, so now Jay Hutch is like, oh, gotcha. All right. So now they're having their own little chat on the side. Why don't we finish up? Because we do want to talk a little Giants baseball, and Sai probably wants to jet after the Warrior talk. But let me throw a couple things your guys' way before we switch off of basketball. Did you guys see game 1 tonight? Did you see Boston, Milwaukee?
You mean game 4?
Yeah.
No, I meant game 1 of the NBA doubleheader.
Yeah.
It was game 4 of Milwaukee, Boston. Boston wins it 116-108. Boston won the 4th quarter 43-28. It looked like the Bucks were going to win this game at home. This was in Milwaukee. Al Horford went off. It's amazing. They acquired Al Horford with Kemba in that trade. They made that trade in June.
Incredible.
And Horford had 30 points and 8 rebounds, and that series is 2-2. In fact, guys, let's look at the NBA playoffs right now. Every series left besides Golden State is 2-2. Milwaukee, Boston 2-2, Philly, Miami 2-2, Phoenix, Dallas 2-2. Did you guys see that game at all tonight? And give me your 3 winners in those other series that are tied 2-2.
I haven't heard Ryan in a while, man. Ryan's been quiet down there. I'm sorry, brother.
Right, jump in here. Who do you like? Who do you like in the series? In the three series that are all 2-2, who are your winners?
I like Celtics, Heat, and what's the other one? Oh, Suns. Easy Suns. Yeah. Also, I had a few notes scribbled down just from the previous questions. Can I hit a quick thing on each one?
A medley, if you will. Go ahead.
A medley. Okay. First thing, the Klay thing. I want 3 dribble Klay. What the heck? Like Klay is, when he's at his best, he's a heat check player, but he's taking in the rhythm shots, catch and shoot shots, and then he can do the crazy heat check shots. He came out of the gate with the heat check shots. He tried that same like off the 1-footer thing. Okay, that's one thing. Also on the Curry fouls.
Hey, can I jump in, Ryan? Ryan, can I just add one thing to your Klay thing?
Absolutely.
Hall of Famer Rick Barry was observing Klay, and he also added that he's noticing Klay's feet are not being set on the nights when he's having poor shooting nights. Like, it's just like feeding off what coach has said.
I've never seen him have that. Yeah. And his like
shots.
his release is like, he's like pulling, like I've never seen him like pull it back as much as that. Okay. And then on the Curry foul thing, because I've felt that way for a long time too. I think it's just, there's players like CP, LeBron, whatever. A big part of their game is they're working the ref the entire time. And that's just not the way Curry plays. It's not exactly. Harden. And it's kind of also like a mindset thing. In my opinion, it's like, if you're so worried about that, like, I think Curry's just like, you know what, I'm cool with my thing. And as far as he gets fouled so much on those layups where he's always falling down, or even threes where he's falling down, it's because, if you're CP, like you're going to, jerk whatever direction you got hit, and it's going to make it look like a foul more. Curry, because of all his injuries, had to learn how to fall and not hurt himself amongst all those big trees and the feet and all that. So he does the same fall almost every time. And because of that, and with the fact that he's not working the refs, that's why the refs have a harder time calling it, because it looks the same every time almost. Same thing with the threes. He falls a lot on threes, even if there's a foot in the slight, a bit of like, in his space, just because he doesn't want to land on it, turn his ankle. Okay, I had a couple other things as well.
Go for it.
Yeah,
on a roll. Keep going.
Empty the chamber.
Yeah,
empty the chamber. We talked about Steven, why not just put Jaren Jackson in the middle? He's such a hoss, similar to Rodon, such a hoss in the middle. But I don't know why I said that. But
should the Warriors start Rodon?
Yeah. Right, so the reason why is because there's numbers out there where, obviously Jackson would be better just playing center. He's enough of a rim presence and whatnot. But he gets so many fouls, and there's a massive difference when Steven Adams is out there, and Steven Adams can kind of be the primary rim protector, and he can actually be a little bit more of a Giannis, where he plays like a free safety instead of being like the primary guy at the rim. That's how he was getting all those blocks tonight. He would be coming from behind, whatever, like a free safety. So that's a big reason. On offense, he just shoots a bunch of threes. I gotta say, on the Draymond thing, I love Draymond. I think that he gets a bad rap. He was kind of wild after that Tyus Jones wrap up. Like, I thought that he kind of got Tyus Jones like on the head, and he went nuts. And I was like, wow.
I thought he was going to get teed up because
he was for sure going to get teed up there.
He ran down the court, and he's kind of, slammed the ball, like put his hands up and ran on the court. I thought, oh boy. I thought I heard a whistle, like one of those big tweets, like tee. Yeah. And I was like, oh man, not now. And
then the last thing I wanted to hit on is that on the injury, on the whole like Ja Morant, people are asking like, are they going to do something about like them not releasing the injury report? Because that's such an important thing with gambling now.
Oh yeah,
I think the NBA, there's going to be a message sent out, because now this is Devin Booker. They did the same thing. They said like, oh, what, like Woj said, it's going to be like 4 to 6 weeks. All of a sudden, he's just playing Game 6. Nobody knew. They said he was out in practice. Larry, I got to take a little bit of a victory lap when we were on with Zach. I said, I don't know. I think that Joel Embiid's going to come back. I think that's gamesmanship. I think he's coming back. I think that they're going to get that game. It's going to be a series. They did the same thing. They said he was out on the injury report on Friday, and they just meant, oh, well, technically he was out today in practice, but it's like, I don't know. I don't.
The NFL, there'd be fines.
There'd be fines.
They were fined. The Sixers were fined.
They were fined.
There'd be like more like you can't do that. And then the jaw thing today, I mean, nobody knew about the MRI. I personally think he's coming back the next game.
I do too. I think for sure he's coming back, but you guys say he's out.
I don't know.
I'm just playing off what, again, from this morning's Locked On Warriors. Connor Letourneau he's very astute, man. He's about as insider as they get. He travels with the team. I mean, I always respect the few
Yeah.
reporters out there who do that. And
So you're saying the Locked On Warrior podcast was really the one source that had the right info.
Connor Letourneau on Locked On Warriors. Yeah, look,
Okay.
he for 5
Who
years
hosts,
he was the
who
Warriors.
hosts that Locked On Warriors show?
Who well, you are obviously. I mean, you come on there
You
regularly.
do. That's your show, bro.
Your KBR buddy Brian Murphy's joining me tomorrow. Your former KBR buddy.
That was a tough book. How'd you get that?
Murph's not tough, is he? I don't know.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I'll go back.
I'm just always.
Ribbon. Are you saying Murph is a soft booking? Like anyone can get him anytime? I almost feel like it's a diss to Murph.
I'm not. Don't get Murph upset. I can't handle Murph upset.
Oh man. Anyways, but no. I will say this: like Letourneau guaranteed this morning that Ja wasn't going to play. He said he's never seen a player listed as doubtful on an injury report in this kind of circumstance and actually play. And he does not think Ja's going to return this series. I don't see how he is. I mean, he's limping around like that's a really serious thing.
Yeah, they showed him there was a clip of him walking into the tunnel through the tunnel where the players come in, and he had a pretty
pronounced limp. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And honestly,
if that was any indication, then maybe this injury is pretty serious, because he definitely had it wasn't just a small little thing. He wasn't walking normal. His stride was clearly. I mean, and now there's only one day off, right?
Yeah,
Wednesday. Yeah.
So that's part of it for them, is like they were like, all right, there's no way he's going to be able to play both these games. Let's not give away this game 4, but it's already, we're already kind of up against it. We're playing them at home. We want him back home, at home, win game 5. Then all of a sudden we just have to, it's all of a sudden it's, we got a series. Like, you just got to beat him in Golden State, and who knows what happens in game 7. So I mean, I think the limp is real, but like, he also probably didn't have whatever crazy shots they put in it and whatever other sorts of chemicals.
He relies so much on his athleticism. Like his game is just based entirely on his explosiveness. Yeah, it would shock me. It would shock me if he play. And I'll say this: if he does play, I actually think that's beneficial to the Warriors. He's going to be a liability. Defensively, he's not great. He's not a great defensive player. The Warriors struggled tonight because of that. Yeah,
I have a theory that I want to throw out to you guys, since we're talking about injuries. The Warriors.
I disagree. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I agree. The
Warriors have played. They're the veteran team. They remind me of when the Cavs with LeBron, they didn't care about their seeding in the East, because they knew they were going to come out of the East, whether they finished first or fourth, and they did. But I was thinking, the Warriors. You look at the core: Curry, Klay, and Green, and they all sat and got rest. I mean, I know Curry, happened at an inopportune time toward the end of the season. But do you think that Green's back disc injury, that they took an extra 3 to 4 weeks, maybe, just so to get ready for the playoffs? Because he shows no sign of any disc injury. The way I know he rehabbed it, but I think when they scheduled him to say, okay, I think if he would have hurt it a month before the season, and it was the playoffs, he would have been out there for the playoffs. But he took an extra month.
That's a great take,
because these guys are they're not tired. They don't have tired legs like they normally would. None of them.
Well, look at Desmond Bane and his back injury. Like, he looks like a shell of himself. So I'm glad they took the extra rest, whether it was a manufactured thing or not.
It is interesting. I know Cy wants to jump in here, but I do think it's interesting. Memphis played the regular season, in my mind, like the playoffs. They went at it. I thought they squeezed every possible win out of that talent that they possibly could. And Now here they are in the playoffs, and maybe they don't have another level to get to, and they got some guys who aren't 100%. Golden State, on the other hand, they've played in Game 7 of the finals, so they looked at the regular season for what it is, which is just a tune-up. And so I think they were anytime it wasn't just Steph and Klay and Draymond. I think anytime anybody had anything this year, they erred on the side of caution and they sat them. And I think and they were so deep that they were able to do that and still wind up with the third best record in the league. So
Incredible.
I think Golden State took that approach. And Dan, I think you're totally right. I think they are benefiting from that macro view on the season that other teams were in the micro. We got to win. I don't think we had Kerr on number of times throughout the year, and he never was about, they fired that first month or so, and they got to Christmas. They had the incredible record. And I think at that point they kind of knew what they had. And then from that point through the end of the year, I think it was all about, let's freshen up our legs. Let's keep our guys fresh. Let's, from Christmas, I think they went at it from Halloween to Christmas, proved it on Christmas Day, and then took the foot off the gas and said, we will be in the playoffs healthy and ready to compete, and we're not worried about our record when we get there. That's my.
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. I think even the Suns did the same thing. They had their foot in the gas the whole regular season. And
was it a great take by me? Should I walk off? Should that be it?
You could. You could have a good night.
See everybody. I'm out.
Yeah.
2016 was like a.
But I was going to say, and you can even look at, first of all, Coach Kerr actually said that he thought Steph looks fresher now than he has all season, because of those 20 some odd games he missed with the foot injury. Draymond, I totally subscribe to the conspiracy theory. I love it, Coach. Because you're right, with a lower back injury, that's a sketch injury. That's a potential career ender. And he does not look like someone who had a lower back injury 3 months ago. And even if you look at it on a more macro level, this is a team that basically took 2 years off after that 5-year run, because they knew they couldn't just sustain this any more than that. Each of these postseasons, when you're going all the way to the finals, that's an extra 2 months, not just of a season, but of a rigorous season where every possession counts, where you can't coast at any point. So no, I totally subscribe to that. Stephen Curry actually let it slip one time where he said he looks at the season as 3 parts, where and the third part is the one that counts, and the second part's the one where you kind of just cruise. And they're in the third part now. Sorry, Coach. Go ahead, please.
No, you're right. No, they are not worried. They said earlier in the year they don't care where they end up seeding wise. And I remember when they were on that funk and they were still in the second spot and they were losing game after game after game. Yep. And somebody, a Bay Area sports person, tweeted, I won't name names, but tweeted that he was getting very concerned about the Warriors, the way they were playing. And they were about 2 or 3 up on Memphis at the time.
Name names, Coach. Name names, please.
Was it Cyrus Satsas from the Locked On Warrior podcast?
No. I won't say former KMBR, and it wasn't Larry.
Willard. It was Willard.
Yeah, it was Willard.
I got it. Yes.
And I said,
Danny's like 2 more sharp takes away from being like the noontime guest tomorrow on one of the sports radio stations. Somebody's going to book Dan Coach Emilio, and everybody's going to start calling him Coach, and his brand is going to blow up, and he wears a Giants hat and the Warriors shirt. He's got Niner wristbands, and he's like the guy, and he's on billboards. He's everywhere.
I replied to Willard. I said, relax. They're going to finish in the 3rd seed.
You told him to relax? Oh, that's a veteran move.
I said they're going to finish the 3rd, because I looked at the schedule, and the Warriors had a very tough end of the schedule, and Memphis had some just easy games, and I was like, Memphis will overtake them, and I said they'll beat Memphis, and then they'll go and beat Phoenix. That's what I predicted, but we'll see.
Jaguayo 56, by the way, is making, I think, his 3rd or 4th donation of the show. He's trying to add to the Larry Kruger Maui Retirement Fund. He says, could the Warriors not get calls because there might be refs who are younger and they might be taught not to give the Harden calls to speed up some of these games?
Jaguayo, dude,
I don't know what to say about that.
Come back
What
with
do
a
you
new
guys think?
question, man. That's a waste of $5. Come on, dude. $5.
Tom, aside, do not ever say that the who are donating cash are wasting their cash. I mean,
Get your
that
money's
right there,
worth, man.
that might be worth.
You might get into the muted room.
Oh, yeah. You saw, what did you say again? Yeah, you can't hear anything because he's muted. Because you do not walk into somebody's barbecue and say, "Hey, I don't like what you're grilling," you don't walk into somebody's live stream and say, "Hey, all you people donating, you're stupid MFers. Don't donate."
Larry's kids got to eat.
Seriously, I mean, come on. We can't make Dan Coach Emilio fund the entire thing. All right, we've got Cy back. Cy,
I was just going to say,
do you want to take it back or take it back? Take it back.
Oh wait, someone else in the chat has a question.
What I was saying is, if you're going to spend money for a question, have a better question than that. That's all. Like, let's give them another chance. The refs. I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
So you're just going to slough off that question. All right.
Okay, throw it back up. I mean, I couldn't even really understand it. Is he insinuating that the refs are younger, and because of that, they don't like giving hardened calls? Is that what it is? I think he's confusing his sports too, because I don't really think of basketball as like trying to speed it up. I mean, heck, the final 3 minutes of an NBA game can last 20 minutes. Between all the timeouts. I mean, how many timeouts do teams have? It seems like nobody ever runs out of timeouts. I don't know. That's a great question. I thought it was 5 full and 3 20s. It's been a while since I've actually thought about that, man.
I mean, when was the last time somebody said timeout? They said, "Oh, no, you don't have any more timeouts."
They do run out. No, they do run out. But
Chris Webber right. Get an extra timeout. He said, "I don't think the NBA is trying to speed up the games." And I'm not sure, about the officials. Maybe I'll call Fitz tomorrow and ask him. He knows a lot about the officials.
Fitz is coming on with me hopefully next week, by the way.
Good
Locked On Warriors.
Fitz is my man. I love Fitz.
He's the man, dude. Yes.
Also, one of the biggest advantages for the Warriors not getting these calls, though, and relying on them in the regular season, though, is it's not like you don't get every single year it happens to Harden where he gets used to these calls during the regular season and you get to the playoffs and it's officiated differently. And yeah, you can be about that or be whatever that the B word about it. But I mean, like it's kind of advantageous for the Warriors if they just know they just play basically the same exact game. It doesn't get affected.
Rebel 4444. Only Chris Webber runs out of timeouts. That's pretty good.
Hey, I got a thought for you, Cy. When you talk with Fitz, I know he has a little bit more pull with some of the guys in the league that he can talk to. I wish with playoff basketball that when the coaches have a challenge, only one challenge they get, and if they get it overturned, they can't use another one. I mean, if they got a bad call, I mean, the playoffs should be all about getting the calls right. I mean, I understand the regular season, you can't just keep doing it, but if a guy uses his challenge with 5 minutes left because of an egregious call, it gets overturned, and then another egregious call happens, and everybody sees it and everybody knows it. Well, you can't do anything about it because, I mean, that's just
why have replay if you're going to have some mechanism within replay that doesn't allow you to get all the calls right? I mean, Danny just perfectly described a scenario where a vital call at the end of the game, there's nothing anybody can do about it because your challenge is gone. I heard Kurt talking about this the other day on the radio, and he said if it was up to him, he'd eliminate all of it.
Interesting.
I mean, that NBA basketball is like, premiership soccer, and that the flow should be prioritized more than it is, and that getting every call right is actually a slippery slope that ultimately kills the flow and ruins the game.
Here's something even better they could do. Here's something they can better do in Secaucus. If the refs see it's a bad call, just hey, overturn that. You don't need to review it. I mean, if you see a call that is so obvious, just have them whistle down to, in the ear or whatever, and just say, hey, that was off Jones or whatever, Warrior ball. They don't have to go take and review it for the NFL does that now. when they see a bad call, they whistle down to the refs and they let them know, and they make the change right there rather than going to replay.
It's been a conflict in sports for decades, right? It's just, I mean, the balance of getting calls right versus falling asleep from 45 minutes for 1 minute of a fourth quarter. It's tough. I mean, I would like to have coaches get at least one more challenge, or at least keep your challenge if you get it right. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but it's a conflict. I had a debate the other day. Somebody brought up, like, what is your favorite all-time single sports play? Right, your all time. And I was conflicted between Joe Montana to John Taylor in Super Bowl 23 and Young to Owens. And I think it was the 97 wild card, the NFC wild card game against
Green Bay, yeah.
Against Green Bay, correct. And
so you're not talking about a highlight. It has to be a pivotal play in the game and the outcome.
Just anything.
Oh,
anything.
Okay.
And
we got to go around the horn on this.
Yeah, and people can bring up I'm sure there's a Willie Mays play in there for someone who's more old school, maybe. But my point is that on that play, some Packer fan was like, well, Rice fumbled on that drive. And I was like, true, but Holmgren also voted against implementing instant replay just the previous offseason. And, that's the strife. It's like, do you want calls right, or do you want the game to flow? And it's hard to find that balance. But thank you, Mike Holmgren, for not green-lighting instant replay for that year.
You're reminding me of that game that Rye, you got to pull up Joe Starkey's call.
Yeah.
Owens.
Yes.
He said it, I think, 3 times. Yeah, pull YouTube. Joe Starkey's call. 97.
Rye can find it for sure. Yeah, what are you going with, Danny? You've probably seen more sporting events than all of us. What would you say is your one highlight? I'll tell you, there's a couple for me, and I'm thinking of a couple. I'm thinking of, like, I'd have to go per sport. You know what I mean? I can't just go, just all sports. But in baseball, to me, the one that just is like, what? Was Bo Jackson catching the ball and running up the outfield wall and along the outfield wall. What the hell is that? I mean, we've never seen anybody do that before, during his career, or since. So Bo Jackson, I would say, incredible. There was that throw that Ichiro made a throw at the Coliseum that nailed Jermaine Dye at third base. That was crazy. And then Cespedes had a throw against the Angels from the base of the wall. That was just like, what the hell? What's in your right arm, bro? You know what I mean? It was like that kind of thing. And then in football, to me, the two that come to mind, it's the Roger Craig run against the Rams, where he just kept churning his legs, and just ran all the way down the field for a touchdown. And then I would say it was probably 88, 89. Regular season in Anaheim against the Rams. Roger they handed it to him a little back on backer action, and he hit the hole, and then all of a sudden he's in a crowd and he's keeping the legs churning, and then he emerges from the crowd. Then he's got guys hanging on him, and he's still running through arm tackles. I mean, it was vintage Hall of Fame Roger Craig.
That's the same game that where Montana to Taylor for those 290+ yard rack plays.
I believe
that's the same game.
No, those were on a Monday night or something. Those were on a night game. This was a day game. But the other one was Earl Campbell in the whatever year it was, 79 or something like that. Just they're pulling his jersey off, and his shoulder pads are everywhere, and he's just 235 pounds, just boom, just running it right down the gut. To me, and then when I think basketball, I think it, because I saw it live, when the doctor going up against the Lakers went up and under. Yeah. And he had the ball in his hand, and he was palming the ball, and he just takes it up and under. And I think it was Mark Landsberger with his blonde floppy hair for the Lakers was trying to defend it. Yeah. That was incredible. I mean, the doctor had just ridiculous hands, and James Worthy had a bunch of these things too. But the doctor had the spectacular one. I think it was maybe a game of the week type weekend, Saturday or Sunday NBA back in the 80s. So that's what I'd go with. Danny, what stands out to you? Oh
gosh, so many. But
there are so many.
I'm gonna go back to Joe Starkey again, calling the band play with Cal Stanford.
He gets away again.
Yeah, he gets away again.
The band is on the field.
Just the dynamics of it. It was the first time that I
82
think
big game.
Yeah. It was just, even though at one point on that play, I think one of the Cal guys' knee might have been down when he threw it back, but still, it was just the call and the game itself, Cal Stanford. And the fact that it was the first time I think that was a successful, lateral play, multiple laterals. Now you see it quite a bit, but that was one.
Daryl Strawberry, by the way, Jay Hutch says Wilson striking out Howard, Posey's grand slam off Latos, Travis Ishikawa, three-way ball against the Cardinals.
Yep.
But I was at a game where Daryl Strawberry, guys, hit a laser, and I'm talking about a laser, off of – do you remember when Candlestick added off the upper deck in right field?
Yeah,
the scoreboard, the out of town. No, I'm not talking about the out of town scoreboard. It actually hung from the upper deck in right center field and went all the way from right center to right field. Daryl Strawberry hit a absolute line drive off of that scoreboard in the center field portion of it, like the right center and right. I mean, seriously, almost hit the upper deck. I've never seen anybody, my entire life watching baseball games at Candlestick, which was like 74 through 1999. I never saw anybody hit it in the upper deck in right center. This guy barely hit. He was about 10 feet shy of the upper deck in almost, he was deep right center, like real close to center field. One of the most incredible shots I've ever seen. I'm sorry, Danny, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
No, that's a good memory. That's a great.
Yeah, I have a lot of those. I mean, Ishikawa's shot because of the impact and, to win the National League pennant was one. As far as spectacular plays that I remember, Ramon Laureano's catch in center field on the run in left center and then up against the wall and then turns in one motion and doubles the guy off first base on the fly.
Yeah.
Not a bounce, on the fly.
I want to see Laureano play for the Giants later this summer, by the way. That's what I'm hoping for.
That was unbelievable. And then basketball, I'm on the spot and I can't think of so many right now, but one that stands out was last year's Gonzaga UCLA game winner by Jalen Suggs. What a game that was. Oh,
that's right. He jumped up on the scorer's table.
Yeah.
That was an incredible one for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's better ones, but that was just a back and forth game.
Any double tomahawk reverse from Dominique Wilkins in the late 80s was just freaking ridiculous. The power in his reverse jams were just. I mean, maybe I'm going old school, but man, youngsters, look it up. Look up Neek. Look up Dominique. Somebody said Hutch's bonds off Gagne. That was roids off roids. He smoked 102 fastball into the water, made it look easy. Seriously, that might have been the greatest, one-on-one battle we've ever seen, and it was two guys on the juice.
That's awesome.
Ryan, what are you going to show us here? Are you going to show us a highlight, Ryan?
Oh yeah, I was going to play the catch too.
Let's see it.
Is it the Joe Starkey call?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Right. This is great technology right here.
One crack at it.
Yes.
I think the whole world thought we were going to throw it to Jerry Rice.
He stumbled.
Down. Throws to the end zone.
Four times.
He caught it.
Owen's last humble moment in life.
Hit it. He caught the ball, and he makes the winning touchdown catch.
What was so great about that, if you remember, he was having a horrible game, Owens.
All kinds of drops,
so many balls. Yeah.
I think that was his only catch. I think that, or it was. I think that might have been his only catch of the game. Don't quote me on that, but it might have been. Yeah, that was just crazy.
Incredible.
And for basketball, I want to throw out also because I never had. There's two memories for basketball, and it's not one play, but Sleepy Floyd's 87 record setter that's still
25 in the fourth.
29.
Greg Popovich. Sleepy Floyd is Superman.
Yeah, and it set the record
awesome.
to this day for most points in a quarter, and he also scored 39, which was a record for the half to prevent the Warriors from being swept by the Lakers. I interviewed Michael Cooper about a year ago and brought that up, and that is still a sore subject for him to this day.
Really?
Because he prided himself on his defense, and the moment I brought that up, he was like, I cannot believe you brought that up. I still hate that. We just let our guards down. We got arrogant. He started really going into detail. He remembered that game vividly. And then I interviewed Sleepy Floyd last year, one of my childhood sports heroes, and he's just a modest, quiet guy. But he loved talking about it. And then Jordan's last shot as a Bull. I think that just
the Brian Russell where he pushed Russell by and hit the shot. Are you talking about the shot against the Jazz where they won the finals?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was
Michael Cooper.
There's something really cool when everybody in the joint knows you're going to do it and you do it anyway. That's what was so cool of the Super Bowl 23 when Montana found Taylor. We all expected Montana to find Taylor. And not only that, so my buddy, one of my best friends in life, the great Bill Urbanek, longtime defensive line coach for the Raiders and the Cardinals. And anyway, he was the Bengals D-line coach that day. And he said that, Dick, I think it was Dick LeBeau might have been the coordinator. And they kept, mix it up, send extra rushers. I mean, literally they looked up, and when the Bengals had scored and they had the lead against the Niners, and you could see that there was 3:20 or whatever it was on the clock.
A lot of time,
everybody, and he said, he goes, Lair, I just had a sick feeling in my stomach. I had a sick feeling in my stomach. And Sam Weiss kept walking down the sidelines. Mix it up on him, Billy. Mix it up on him. In other words, give him different looks. And Lewis Billups dropped a absolute right in the breadbasket interception before Montana hit Taylor. That could have and would have iced the Super Bowl for the Bengals.
Right.
Instead, in and out of the breadbasket, a couple plays later, Montana to Taylor. And it's funny, I've interviewed Taylor. Taylor's just awesome. I don't know if you guys ever get a chance. John Taylor. Get John Taylor.
One of my favorites. One of my
incredible, humble, tough, everything you want. Everything you want in a teammate, everything you want.
That was the game with Joe in the huddle. He goes, hey, look, there's John Candy.
John Candy, yep.
Hey, H. He called Harris Barton H. Hey, H. Isn't that John Candy? I mean, that's just to have the presence of mind to even say that. Just kind of, supposedly, according to Barton, it calmed him down and calmed everybody down in the huddle. I mean,
they laughed.
All I got to say, anybody who hasn't seen the Montana doc, go see it.
Oh, it's so good.
Watch it.
I thought
that was incredible, doc.
Yeah. How about that game when you talk about a drive? To me, a drive I remember so vividly was the 81 NFC Championship against Dallas.
Yeah.
Walsh just kept running. Linville Elliott to the
Elliott.
Just all
number
these
35.
Sweeps. They just kept running sweeps, and then they'd throw some passes to Clark and moving it down the field. And it was just like, I was just like, man, they just keep running. They're going to run out of time, But that was still, when they scored, it only put them up by 1, and there was still 58 seconds left.
Correct.
Danny White, if it wasn't for who got the sack,
right.
Was it Fred Dean?
No, it was Lawrence. It was Jim Stuckey who got the sack. It was Lawrence Pillar. It was a strip sack, and the ball popped out, and Lawrence Pillars jumped on it. And that's how that game got iced. Basically, they went slant to Drew Pearson, and Drew Pearson got what's it called when you grab the guy from the horse collar?
Horse collar.
Now it's illegal, but then it was not illegal. And Eric Wright pulled Drew Pearson down by the horse collar, straight horse collar, boom, pulled him down. Otherwise, he was gone. And that you want to talk about rewriting history right there.
Yeah, history.
Have Drew Pearson streaking to the end zone. That would have changed things. That would have changed things.
What would have happened to the Niners dynasty had they lost that game to Dallas? I mean, it really.
It was the
Because
changing of the guard, right? The
it
Niners
was.
took over and the Cowboys kind of faded into the background. And that Cowboy team, that was Super Bowl 16. Super Bowl 15
Correct.
was Pittsburgh and the Rams. Super Bowl or 14 was Super Bowl. No, 15, I should say, was Raiders Eagles. 14 was Steelers Rams. 13 was Steelers Cowboys. 12 was Cowboys Broncos. And 10 was Steelers Cowboys. So the Cowboys basically went to 10, 12, and 13. And this was now Super Bowl 16. And a lot of those same guys, Tony Dorsett, Harvey Martin, Randy White, Too Tall Jones, those guys were all those same guys were still hanging around.
And that was the end of them.
That was the end of them. That was the end of them. And then that was when things kind of took off for the Niners. An incredible moment in NFL
Tom
history.
Landry
Awesome.
in the amazing hat.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Sai, you want to jump? Because I got
a early morning.
Sorry, really quick. I'm really. It sucks because how can we have had this crazy Warriors run, and I feel like there's no signature moment, and that's part of like explaining like Curry to. It's like every game he has a bunch of highlights, but like he hasn't quite had that because they had so many blowouts. He hasn't, I mean, maybe the shot over AD where, I mean, if that was called a 4-point play like it should have been, then that would have been really epic. But
what is the signature moment? I would say, if you say signature moment, Warriors dynasty, I would probably say KD over LeBron.
Yeah, but I'm just like.
The play. Yeah.
Right? KD over LeBron on the pull-up, whatever game that was, whatever series that was.
Yeah, but it's inevitable. I guess I don't know.
There's a few, like Draymond hitting that 3 to finish off the Trailblazers in 2019 was pretty sweet. As weird as it sounds, like in terms of a play, I think back to 2013, that when they're coming out party in the conference semis against the Spurs when they pushed San Antonio to 6 games. It was 2013. Yeah, the Spurs eventually lost to the Heat in the finals. I like there was one play where Kerr did this move on the baseline and just hit this it was just a field goal, basic, 10-footer, 12-footer. But I just, that sticks out to me because that was like, you saw Tim Duncan kind of look at him and just kind of look at these guys. And there was like, God damn, this is a team. And they, again, 6 games. No one expected that. The Warriors won game 1, I think, of that series, right? And
and they had game 2. They had game 2, and then
it was game 2. Yeah, they got a split.
They won game 1, but they almost won game 2.
Correct. There you go. Yeah. And
where would you put the Klay OKC?
I just see that's the problem. It's like I don't know. In basketball, it's tough because it's like, I mean, are we just calling that it's just that stretch of time where he went off? Is that the play? Because then maybe Curry's in the second half.
There's
but
no play.
There's no singular. Yeah. So I was going to say,
I bet you if we had Fitz on, he would be able to give us a signature play. Seriously, because he's that dialed in.
I don't know. The double bang.
Jay Hutch brings up a great point. That one Baron Davis dunk on that
was going to be the one I was going to say for probably over AK-47.
They lost that series though, but they lost that series, so that's only downer to that play. But I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
But on a positive note, I think we could have it this year. I think this could be the year. I think maybe Curry gets like his buzzer.
I don't want a post game.
It is interesting.
If it's a game
interesting,
2,
guys. How about this one? Jay Hutch says the We Believe team had some crazy plays. How about the Baron Davis over Andre Karolinko?
Yeah,
Curly. Yeah, the AKA.
Unreal.
Right? Can you find that one? Can you dig that one up? Dig that one up on the YouTube. I would love to see that before we get out of here. Baron Davis reached back and just freaking tomahawked it on, and it landed on Karolinko's head.
That's the only sour point of that play. Like they didn't win the series, and
that's true.
They lost 5, I think. They got kind of
great highlight though.
It is a phenomenal highlight. No,
I got some. When we finish basketball, I've got a few points I'd love.
Oh yeah, no, we're going to get to baseball,
with the
Danny.
Giants.
We're not saying. Believe me, Danny, we didn't have you bust out the Giants hat for nothing tonight.
There we go.
Sai, let's. We're kicking you out of our soiree.
Get the hell out. I got to go to bed. I got to. Yeah,
right.
Dude, look. Let's finish on this note real quick before you kick me out. Are we still going? Okay, yeah. Let's watch.
Let's see Karolinko. Let's see the Karolinko jam.
No, I want to finish on this note.
Got the girdle.
This game tonight for the Warriors. It's a big one in the grand scheme of things for this franchise. This was a huge game. I all I can tell Dub Nation, for those of you that are going, how does this guy know? He's just saying this stuff. There's some things that instincts come into play. watching a team night in, night out for, decades and observing this beautiful game of basketball that I love so much. The Grizzlies are the biggest obstacle for this Warriors team. And tonight was the signature moment of this entire 2021-2022 season. It's all downhill from here. I'm incredibly confident they're going to win the world championship now. This game had like a feel of a final series. I mean, there was a tension there. I mean, I don't know if you felt it at home, but
vibes. Like the crowd started getting a little, like their butts started tightening up, and
it was a quiet crowd. The reason this tonight was so big, had they lost, they would have had to have won a game 7 in Memphis. They would have had to go back to win.
No, they would have had to win. They would have had to win 2 of the final 3.
Right, but they could have won game 5.
They could have won 5 and 6. They could have won.
Well, yeah, but the odds are you're right. But it created a possibility even greater of having to go to Memphis twice.
It hurts me to correct you, Dan. It really does.
Man.
I could have won 5 and 6.
That's how I feel like you, Larry. I hate.
Here I am, the financial guy, and I can't even get my numbers straight now.
Oh man, we've had some fun tonight. All right, Cy, we're kicking you out of our treehouse.
I'll see you Wednesday.
And Wednesday night. Good job.
Yeah,
thank you guys.
Good job, Cy.
Thanks,
awesome. Cy. How do we say goodbye to Cy? Oh wait, we got to go down here. Cy. Oh, remove. There you go. Bye, Cy. And now he's in the green room hanging out, drinking our food, drinking our booze, and eating our food. Now we kicked him out of the green room. So now he's out out altogether.
Oh, I meant to pull this one off. So I don't know if you saw that there's a Nick Cage movie out where Nick Cage is playing Nick Cage, and it's excellent. But in preparation of seeing that, I watched Con Air, and the like main like big bad's name is Cyrus the Virus, and there's that one scene where he's like all of a sudden he catches like the Colombian drug lord that's about to take off with the plane that he totally double crossed him, and he's covered in like gasoline, and then he's like looking up like trying to say like no I didn't mean it, and he's like Sigh, and then he turns to him, he's like Anara, and then flicks the cigarette and explodes him. And so I was like, oh, I want to at some point get that going with Sigh.
I don't want to badmouth you, but since you left the chat, there's like 20 more people in the room. I mean, literally, as soon as you left, there's 20 more people in the room. I'm just joking, Cy. Jackson J says, sorry, Cy. Suns, Bucks, Celtics, better and bigger than Grizzlies. I'm a little bit with Jackson J there. Really? You gonna go with Grizzlies as the final frontier? I watched Boston tonight. To me, Boston Warriors in the finals could be really good. Maybe I'm wrong, but if Al Horford keeps playing like that, I expect Boston to be pretty much there. Suns, something tells me that the Warriors are going to have the Suns number, but I think the Suns are going to fire. I think the Warriors are going to get a full dose of Phoenix if it is Warriors Phoenix. All right, let's switch gears and talk a little bit about the Giants tonight, because the Giants got to win, and we've been talking so much Warriors, and rightfully so, right? Because it's the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to talk about if you're a real Bay Area sports fan like I am, like you guys are, you go to priorities. If we started and went for an hour on the Giants, I mean that would be like tone deaf.
After iconic
after an iconic playoff game, and we're sitting there. Excuse me, Tyler Rogers in the 8th. Dodgers lost today, by the way, 5-1. Pirates got him. Jose Quintana got the win. Pirates out hit LA 15-4. So the Giants not only get a win, they get to pick up a game on the Dodgers, which is good.
Urias, or wait, how do you say it?
Urias. You got to roll your R. Urias. And maybe I'm butchering that, but I like the way it sounds.
16-game losing streak to the Dodgers, so that was big. The Pirates usually do pretty well against the Giants, but they can't beat the Dodgers. They haven't beat them since 2018. So tonight was huge.
Who won Cubs Pods tonight?
Cubs 6-0.
Okay, so they gained a game on both Dodgers and Padres.
Yes.
And then what happened with Diamondbacks and the Fish?
D-backs won. I think they won. They were winning. I'm
not that they're going anywhere. D-backs are gonna bring up the rear. But you know who played well in the Giants game tonight is Mauricio Dubon.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
Mauricio
And
Dubon came into the game, Danny, hitting 189. He hits a sac fly to center field in the bottom of the first and scored Slater. Good at bat. Giants are up 1-0. Then Dubon comes up in the third. It's a 2-run bomb to dead center, 405, 405 feet, 3-0 Giants. So, good to see Mauricio get going. I mean, the Giants had 4 hitters in their lineup tonight between Dubon, Ruff, Crawford, and Joey Bart, who are all struggling, all 225 or under, I believe. Bart's at 164 and struck out his first 2 at-bats. What did Bart do after the first 2 ABs tonight?
They came up with bases loaded, and Jock Peterson pinch hit for him, and he got a sac fly. And it was interesting.
In the 6th there?
What was interesting, they took a shot of the dugout, and Bart just grabbed his equipment and just walked to the clubhouse.
Really?
It was kind of strange. It was, I don't know if there was, if he was.
Is he being farmed out?
I almost thought that. It looked like he was just like, hey, I'm out of here, but I'm sure it was just, maybe. Who knows? Maybe he had to go to the bathroom. Who knows? I mean, I don't think he was pulled for injury because, I didn't have the sound up for the Giant. I was listening to the Warrior game, and then I just had the sound down watching the Giants game. So I don't know what was going on, but it was a good move anyway, just to pinch hit because you needed the runs at the time. They were I think they were up 5-2 at the time, 4 or 5-2, and I think it was the 6th run maybe that Jock knocked in. So was but I'm looking here at the batting averages. What I wanted to mention, because me, and I've been high on Mauricio for a long time, and I said at the beginning of the year, you asked who do you look to have a good year, and I said I really like Dubon. He's but the problem was they weren't playing him, and I said last week I'd like to see him be kind of the Giants' Chris Taylor and move him around and let him play 5 days a week, see what he can do. Put him yesterday, he got the start, or Saturday. Was it Saturday he played short? Yeah. I think it was Buster Posey Day.
Jimmy just said he's gone back-to-back games with Dubon with a blast to dead center.
Yeah,
he's starting to get it going. His average is up to 244. As I said, he started today at 189, so it was a hell of a game.
Right. It's good to see. I mean, Slater's hitting 275. He hit one off the wall to start the bottom of the first, got a triple and scored on a sac fly. And then Yastrzemski's hitting 288. And you know who's coming around is Ruff.
Two more hits tonight. Yeah, 2 more hits for Ruff.
And
later
when he got his going was Saturday. He came up as a pinch hitter, I believe. And when you pinch hit him, he got a hit, and then he got a knock. Did he get his home run yesterday?
On Friday?
His home run was on Buster Posey Day, wasn't it?
I think it was Saturday or was it yesterday?
I thought it was Saturday.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy. Okay.
And then, who's really kind of struggling right now at the plate is Crawford.
Yeah, Crawford
has been,
but he walked a couple times tonight. That maybe he'll get him going.
And he comes around in May a lot. He gets a hot bat in May. He has the last.
I'm not worried about him. Are you? Are you guys worried about him? I'm not worried about him because one, his glove is big time, and I just think, I don't care if he hits more than 240. Last year was just totally like, that was just icing on top of the cake. The guy that I'm worried about because I don't really have a backup is Joey Bart. Joey Bart came out of spring training and he was laying off that pitch in the dirt, and he had a really good idea of what pitchers were trying to do to him, and he seemed like he had a game plan for it. He showed a lot of patience. It was a short spring training, only 17 games, but in those games, he demonstrated a better batting eye. Then he brought that batting eye into the season, and now here we are. Today was game 29. It seems like he's lost all the momentum that he had coming out of the Cactus league portion of the schedule. And I saw him in his second at bat. he's quickly 0-2. He's swinging through tons of pitches. He can't lay off that slider in the dirt. He swings over the top of it. It's frustrating to watch him. And I know I've been reading the notes. They've been saying that Bart and Casale, who are both struggling, have been taking extra BP before games, and they're trying like crazy to unearth whatever it is that will be the key to getting either one of those guys going, if not both. They just can't do it. I mean, they can't get any momentum there.
Right.
That's a killer, because you don't have to have Buster. You don't have to have one of the best hitters in your lineup, but you got to get 240 out of one of your catchers. You can't have two catchers hitting 150. You got to get a 230, 240 with some power out of one of those catchers. Otherwise, man, if you got a guy in your lineup, who's hitting 150, man, that it just drags the whole lineup down. They don't have a good option right now behind the dish.
Well, the worst part about
guys,
Bart
are you guys hearing this? Like, are you hearing anything?
No.
Out of my mic. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I told you about this when you were talking about your neighbor with the saw or whatever. I've got the neighbor that like randomly will throw these bangers from like 11:30 at night until like 5 a.m, and currently one's going on right now. So
parties in Moraga. Should Danny and I stop by the liquor store on the way over?
I'm in LA right now.
Oh, you're in LA. All right.
Yeah. Well,
Parties in where part of LA are you in?
Silver Lake.
Not
at least
familiar.
until Sunday, and then
sounds high price.
I know a lot about LA because I used to live down out in San Bernardino County, but Silver Lake, I've never heard of that.
It's like a trendy hipster sort of neighborhood, like sort of near Glendale.
So North LA,
Echo Park,
Pasadena, Glendale,
kind of like
area?
Dodger Stadium, not that far from Echo Park and all that.
In between like Echo Park and like Glendale, Pasadena.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for derailing. Go ahead. If you guys can't hear it, then
parties in LA at Rise.
Yeah.
Stop by.
Well,
bring a 40.
The problem with Bart right now is you can't count on him to even get a good at bat to move the runner along or anything. It's strikeouts.
Jim Millay, Danny says 32 strikeouts for Joey Bart, 12th in the National League.
I think he's leading in strikeout percentage too.
Yeah, he's like close to 50. I'm wondering if Farhan couldn't pull something off. I looked at the standings the other day and say, who's going nowhere?
The A's.
Well, yeah. I mean, Murphy's there, but Detroit.
Laureano, Montas.
Yeah. But I'm thinking of a catcher that maybe I'd like to see a left-handed bat and a good glove is Tucker Barnhart.
Yeah, he won the Gold Glove in the NL last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a Gold Glover, and he's
what's he hitting?
Detroit. He's hitting 259 right now. Let's see.
So he may win the batting title.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's had 59 plate appearances. How many at bats do they show in here? 259. Doesn't have any homers. His K rate's up too, though. He's striking out 39% of the time, but at least he's got some hits though. He's got 9. Let's see. What a crappy stat site this is. I want Baseball Reference, not this.
Well, they have to get. Here's the thing about it. There's certain spots where they've got contingency plans, but catcher is not one of them, guys. They don't have a contingency plan. They got a bunch of young catchers in the farm system. All of them have different degrees of potential, but none of them are ready. And then you got Casale, who's, last year was outstanding. This year, he looks like a totally different guy. Now, his body's in good shape, but he's just not hitting. Maybe, and then you mix in Bart at, 164 is what he started tonight at. Where's Bart right now after the ball game tonight? He's hitting 158.
158 and
158.
2 more Ks tonight. 2 at bats, 2 Ks.
First 2 at bats, he K'd.
So, he just sat there and looked at a ball. I mean, they throw him an off-speed pitch, and he doesn't know what to do when it. I mean, he's looking fastball constantly, and boom, they throw they break one off, and right down the heart of the plate, and he just looks at it and walks away. I will say this about Joey though. he has done a phenomenal job behind the plate. He's been really calling a good game. He's blocking balls in the dirt. He's not hurting them defensively one bit. And so I think that part is really good.
Yeah, but how long can you go with 158? I mean, that's the thing. You might have to, not only just for him, but not only for the team, but for him. You don't want him to bury himself at, 083 or something like that in 3 weeks because he's in such a funk. SG Sports Talk channel is donating $1.99 to this question. Thoughts on Mauricio Dubon? SG Sports Talk channel, we did kind of cover Dubon a few minutes ago. That's why we haven't got to that, come around to that yet, but we do appreciate the donation and thank you for participating in the Krueg show. But I would say Dubon is really the bright spot over the last couple of days. The fact that, this guy has bat speed. Now he's a circus on the base paths and they have to work with him on that because you just can't make the kinds of mistakes that he's seemingly made. He's made a number of really bad decisions on the base paths where he's just kind of indecisive. And then all of a sudden he makes the wrong call and either the indecisiveness or the wrong call burns him. But he's pretty quick. He can play a number of positions.
Yeah,
he doesn't really embarrass himself on either side of the bag, even though I like him more at second than short. But then you watch him in center field, and he looks pretty decent in center field. Now, He doesn't take great angles, but, he's demonstrated a good arm a couple times this year. He's thrown some guys out. So, Mauricio is very talented. He's got a lot of bat speed. He's got foot speed. He's versatile. He's athletic. He's confident. Those are all good traits. They just have to smooth out some of the edges. But I agree. Yeah. He's a guy that I would invest more ABs in because there's more offense there.
Yeah, I've been saying it. Yeah, you just got to get these guys going. I read a lot of things where people rip on Dubon and stuff. When guys only get one at bat or two at bats in a week against 90 guys throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour, it's pretty difficult to hit. Let's take a look at Max Muncy. We're talking about Joey Bart hitting 158. Max Muncy is got the second lowest batting average in, I don't know if it's all of baseball or the National League at least, but he's hitting 138 right now. His slugging percentage is 288. His OPS is 618. He's having a horrible year right now. And this is, an all-star.
Well, there's a number of guys around baseball. Now, the Dodgers are one of the better offensive teams, but Justin Turner's hitting 168. Muncy's hitting 136. Bellinger's hitting 214. Yeah. So, you would think, and then I don't know. You guys have heard the same rumors that I've heard that they're using different baseballs for different games. And, somebody's suggesting that MLB is using a different baseball for nationally televised games than they are for the other. I'm really hoping that that's not the case. I'm really hoping that there's absolutely nothing to any of that discussion. Have you heard those rumors as well the last couple of days?
I've heard different things about it. Yeah, that they're different balls for different games. And I just don't understand, why baseball would even mess with it. It needs to be a standardized ball, and the teams need to know. Major League Baseball now owns the manufacturing of the baseballs. It's no longer Rawlings.
Right. They bought the company. So now we used to speculate, and they used to speculate on the specs on the ball. Now they control those specs. So any and all discussion about the ball itself needs to be brought to Rob Manfred and hold his feet to the fire on the thing. I don't know what's going on, but there are some absurdly low averages around the game, and it makes you wonder. Giants the other day against the Cardinals, Danny, Ryan and I were talking about it the other day on the postgame. The Cardinals had 4 of the nastiest pitchers I think I've seen. Yes. That guy Helsley or whatever. He is throwing 102 with a nasty slider. And you got Giovanni, who's the closer they have for the Cardinals. He's nasty. I mean, they seriously brought out 4 different looking, ridiculously nasty pitchers who all threw high 90s with killer breaking stuff. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this might be the problem, that there's you're not even getting a second at bat against some of these killer relievers. You're only getting one look at them, and their stuff is filthy. So, I don't know what to make of baseball's lack of offense, but to me, this is a sport that needs more action. We need more things to happen on the field. And, Jay Hutch says, get the humidors out of the stadiums, please. I don't know what this solution is. All I can tell you is there's more relievers than I ever remember in my life that are nasty and throw. Yeah. It's like if a guy comes out of your pen and he throws 93 with a killer breaking ball, that used to be like your reliever, your key guy. Now everybody's got like 5 guys like that. Every team in the league, teams that are going nowhere, have 4 nasty relievers. I mean,
they've got a half dozen of them in the AAA that they can bounce up and down. Look at the Giants, Santos.
Gregory Santos throws 101 miles an hour the other day. They farmed him back out. He was totally overpowering.
Yeah,
I mean, it's baffling, really.
Here's something that's kind of interesting with Dubon hitting well and able to play second, short, third, center field. He can play right or left. I mean, he really can play just about everywhere on the field except catcher and first. As far as the position players, you could see him anywhere. But what do you do here in the next couple weeks when Longoria and LaStella come back? Dubon is out of options. You're not going to just do what they did and just DFA him. They're going to either have to trade him or they're going to have to send somebody else down. I mean, Farhan's a master at buying time by somebody comes up with a neck ailment or
Well, that's why Belt wasn't in there today. Not that it's we're kind of saying that you're kind of suggesting that some of these things are not legit. Belt's injury today, from what I heard, he was scratched with a stiff neck. By the
he'll
way,
be back in the next day or two.
Kipe said 20,000. I saw, maybe it was late in the game. If that was 20,000,
no chance.
They were super spread out, and that's
probably
the most.
20 might have been 20,000 paid, and people just decided to watch the Warrior game.
Yeah, what'd you think? I mean, to me, it looked like about maybe 12-5 or 13-5 or something like that. But I'm not I don't know. In this park now, people are spread out, and sometimes people will be sitting all the way up top where maybe in the Candlestick days, everybody kind of hovered down around the infield. So it seemed that was a 60,000 seat stadium that, people would kind of try to move down to the better seats.
It didn't look half full, though.
It definitely did not look half full. A Brody 7 donates $10. He says, what do you guys think of Gabe Kapler sending Jock Peterson in to pinch hit for Joey Bart? Do you think they will trade Joey Bart by season's end?
Should I give him the Psy answer?
What's that?
Should I give him the Psy answer?
Yeah, give him the Psy answer.
No, I don't want to go into the mute room. I don't want to get muted.
Hey, wait. Speaking of Joey Bart, sorry, I went mute, even though you didn't mute me. I was trying to find the K percentage leaders. I finally
muted yourself.
Pretty much.
Really? Never done that myself. I've never really done that to myself.
Okay, here we go.
I've heard people suggest I should be muted.
Can you guys read that?
Yeah, I can because
Joey Bart. It's minimum
to be blind at the end of the show.
Joey Bart.
Oh my God, he's got a 40. He's striking out 45% of his ABs.
45. Yeah, here. If this
that's
helps.
Number one in the big leagues.
Minimum 60 plate appearances. Yes.
Bellinger's got to be up there somewhere. Where the heck?
Danny, that can't continue.
Can't
continue.
No, you can't. And as far as Brody's question, I think it was a move that had to be done. Bases were loaded. The game was still relatively close. I can't remember what the score was at the time. Was it 5-2 to Giants.
It was 5-2 Giants at that point. No, it was it was 4-2. Yeah, it was 5-2. It was 5-2, and then he pinch hit Jock Peterson, who hit the sack fly that scored rough to make it 6-2.
Well, yeah, I mean, imagine Joey comes up and either strikes out or hits into a DP. I mean, Jock could have hit into a DP because he can't really run right now. So if he hits a grounder at any position player, it's probably a DP. But Joey's has a 45% chance he's going to strike out.
Well, that gets you beat. That gets you beat.
Yeah.
I hate to say that.
You have to. It was a good move. That's what you brought Jock in to do, is play against right-handers and pinch hit in key situations. So
that's I would put that in as a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
No-brainer,
right?
No-brainer. It is a show of no confidence. I mean, when you take out your starting catcher in the what was that, the sixth inning? I think it was the sixth.
But he's already 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts at that point, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I mean, that's why I'm saying it can't continue, and that's the question about, like, what exactly do they do? They don't have a AAA catcher they can call up. It has to be almost a trade of some kind. I threw out Sean Murphy and Stephen Vogt because the A's are going nowhere, and I saw a rumor in spring training about a deal involving Murphy and Bart. I mean, I think, if you say, okay, how would you compare those two? Sean Murphy's is a little bit more along in his career. I think Bart maybe has the higher upside. I think both of them are kind of going to be low average guys who are kind of challenged to hit 230, 240. Maybe if you sweeten the deal with some, what's going to happen with Tyler Beatty? Isn't he going to get dealt here in the next 24 hours?
When is the
he was just DFA'd.
End up?
I thought it was 72-hour DFA. What day was he DFA'd? Was it Saturday?
I think it was
Friday?
Before that. I think it was even Thursday.
So he might be. I think Tyler Beatty could be dealt.
What about a package?
Yeah, I mean, would you trade Tyler Beatty and here we go. Now we're going sports talk radio, but do we go Tyler Beatty, Joey Bart to the A's for Sean Murphy and maybe Laureano?
I mean, look at Murphy. I mean, so I just sorted by catchers now. So Sean Murphy is
where's Murphy? He strikes out 32% of the time.
Yeah, he's got a 213 batting average. Somehow he's managed to have a lower on base percentage than Bart.
What are you on, Fangraphs there?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing. Maybe, okay, that's a good list that you have right there. Why? Because ultimately you're not getting an all-star catcher back. You're getting another catcher who's also struggling. I kind of like the kid Stallings, who's what's he hitting?
Pittsburgh? Is he with
He's
Pittsburgh?
only hitting 167.
Oh, Jacob Stallings?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a hose and he's got power, and Wilson Contreras is there. He's hitting 224. I mean, look at some of these averages.
It's crazy.
The averages of these hitters. Wilson Contreras 224, Jacob Stallings 167, Sally Perez 143, Austin Hedges 159. I mean, Sean Murphy, 213. He's like a freaking batting champion compared to some of these other guys.
Seriously, who's going to win the Silver Slugger this year? Like, what are they going to hit, 252?
Yeah. I mean, Austin Nola, good young catcher, hitting 185. Yeah. So it's
average.
It's a tough call. I mean, Will Smith, who's hitting 238 for the Dodgers, 238 never looked so good.
Oh, my God. What did Posey hit last year?
It's freaking Wade Boggs compared to these other guys.
What did Posey hit last year? Like 300. He hit 300. Oh, Jesus.
Right at 300.
Yeah.
God.
That's the thing.
Is Tucker Barnhart on here? I don't even see him in the first.
Maybe he doesn't. He might not be
down another page.
Appearances. Here, I can. Plate appearances. I have it set. What should I set it at?
Did I say Stallings in Pittsburgh? He's in Miami. Stupid dumbass child said he's in Miami, Larry. Okay, sorry. All
right, who are you looking for?
He's looking for Tucker Barnhart. Where's Tucker Barnhart in this thing?
59. Oh, yeah, he only had 59 plate appearances. That's why Wow, his strikeout percentage though, 39%.
Yeah, but that's 259 compared to the rest of these guys hitting 150. 259. My goodness, he's Gwyn.
He's Gwyn. He's Gwyn. Right.
You know, it's a tough situation, but this is going to be one to watch, I think, in the next. And when I say one to watch, I'm talking about in the next week, right? Because you can't go. What happened to Danny? Did Danny get frozen?
Danny got I think, yeah.
We kick you out, Danny? What happened? Were you drinking in the hallway or something? What was going on? Why did you have to stop by the green room? Did you forget something back there? Did we somehow kick Danny to the green room?
Danny?
Here we are. My
There
headset went out. Hey, see, you get me into electronics and any kind of technology. I started looking at the stats on the phone, and I just blew myself out of the whole room.
It looks like they want me to look at Carson Kelly.
Well, that's okay. So the two guys I was thinking of as potential, not recently, but I was thinking about in spring training. Arizona has Carson Kelly, and they also have they got Dalton. What's his name?
Varsho.
Dalton Varsho. Gary Varsho's kid, Dalton Varsho.
They won't let it. I don't think Arizona would let either of those guys go. Varsho could play center field. He could.
That's the thing. Varsho's pretty athletic, and he's a lefty.
Yeah.
He's a left-handed
I'd love
hitter.
to have Varsho, but
Varsho would be a nice. The Arizona's got a couple nice players. Who's that super fast center fielder they have? Who's
Payson Smith or Peyton?
Pavin Smith from the University of Virginia. I like him a lot.
But they got a lot of young guys.
The other guys,
I've got a big spin zone because now that I'm looking at these and it's like, wait, maybe Joey Bart still has like insane value because it's like the state of the catcher position right now, the chance of taking a number 2 overall pick on that has the promise of having a bunch of power. Like,
well, that's why Danny. I think that's why Danny was right in saying who's out of it, who's going nowhere. Because what you really need is you need somebody who isn't going anywhere, who has time. You know, the Giants have basically run out of time with Tyler Beede. They've run out of time with Joey Bart. They want to contend right now, and it's going to be very difficult to contend if you have somebody in your lineup hitting 150. Now, I don't want to put it on Joey Bart. I'm sure he's working hard. I'm sure he's a good kid, but the reality is he's in a free fall right now, and they need to do something to back him off and to slow down his dissension. Otherwise, he's going to be on the interstate. He's going to be like, on the bingo card, 083, Blackout.
He's still top 10 in on base plus such slugging. That just is crazy.
Yeah.
With how bad he's been. Wow.
I just think I wouldn't trade Joey Bart personally. I think he has, at this point, I think he's young and still has value. Like I said the other day, Matt Williams, his first year coming up in the big leagues, really struggled and struck out a lot, and he was going up and down. And then he came up in 87. By 89, though, he was a key player for the World Series.
Williams played at Vegas. He played at UNLV. Joey played at G-Tech. So they're probably maybe in a similar age range. It was weird, though. When Williams came up, you always felt like he would smooth it out and get going. And he always had the soft hands at third. And there was just a lot of reason to stay with Matt Williams. He could play short at that point. And he had massive right-handed power. And even though he would swing and miss, he would hit one out, and you'd be like, wow, look at Matt Williams just hit an absolute Titanic shot to left. And so he always kind of gave you a little glimpse. I just feel like Joey Bart at this point is in this free fall. And he can't seem like he can get himself out of it, and they're working on it. But
I'll tell you when he pulls it out. When he pulls out of it, you'll know he's pulling out of it when he starts hitting the ball with authority to right field and right center. When he starts hitting line drives to the gap in right center, and he even has the power. I predict that if anybody ever hits a home run from the right side into the cove, it would be Joey Bart. I believe has
nobody ever hit one in right side into the cove? I thought Sammy Sosa hit one. No,
no one's ever done it. Buster came the closest in the playoffs last year against the Dodgers. he hit that. I think it hit that tower up top and then bounced into the water. But Joey, when he's right, I've seen him in spring training games hit the ball out of the park into right center deep. I mean, he is trying to pull everything. If he would just go up there and, go with the pitch when they throw them these sliders that are on the outside corner, instead of trying to yank it into left field, just go with the pitch and just punch it into right. Even if it's soft liners, if he just starts going to right field, I think that can get him going. But I wouldn't trade Joey if they have to send him down to get a reliable bat. I'm for that.
How many options does he have? He's got options, right?
Oh, he's got options left. Yeah, he's got options.
Well, they got to. That's the thing, though. And not only that, if you send him down, like Romo 2001 is donating $2 series. Ricardo Genovez and Johnny Pareda are looking okay in AAA. See, that's the problem. If you've got a prospect at almost every level. I mean, that's a problem, but you've got a prospect playing at every level behind the dish, I believe. And so if you move Joey Bart back to the minor leagues, do you move everybody down a level to account for that?
He can DH.
Does he share time? Does he DH?
He can DH.
You want to DH him?
He just needs help with his, he needs to catch a little bit, but if he gets down, but he needs at bats.
What do you think of Tyler Stevenson? Mark Graves says Reds are looking to sell. How about Tyler Stevenson?
Well, he's leading all of the splits by a zillion. So, I mean, his on-base plus slugging is almost 200 points better than anyone. He's got the best batting average of them all. He's 25 years old, former first rounder. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what would it take to get like a guy like that?
By the way, Jay Hutt, we had somebody here, Rebel 444 says, good note. Kyle Harrison got like 10 Ks in his last start in Eugene. And then we have Jay Hutch, who's got to keep it quiet. He's in Murfreesboro. His wife is trying to sleep. He says, time check. Jay Hutch 91 says, time check. It's 2:10 a.m. LOL. Hey, do we have the video calls up? Can we get Jay Hutch in Murfreesboro to maybe give us a call?
Sure. Also,
Jay Hutch, see if you can call us and be as quiet as you can be.
Yeah. Get out of bed and move into your man cave and give us a call.
Give us a call.
Speaking of 10Ks, Rodon, I love him. I love him so much. I put a nice 50 spot down on Rodon over 9Ks.
Oh,
parlayed with Curry to have 30. Boom, boom.
Oh, beautiful.
Look at you. What did that pay off? 8-1?
Made a nice little 400.
Parties at Rise.
Nice parlay.
Get out to Glendale. They're tapping the keg as we speak.
But the drama for me was I switched over at halftime and I was like, oh my God, he's already up to 94 pitches and he was battling. He just let up the hit. And then he gets the strikeout and then the guy comes back in. Was that kind of shocking to you guys that he would come back in with his arm?
Right. Keep it down. Keep it down. We got Jay Hutch is joining us. Jay, are you there?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Can you not see me?
No, I can't see you, man. Darn. Your wife turned off the camera, maybe. She didn't want any of that. She's like, man, if Jay Hutch doesn't get back in the rack, he's out of here. Jay Hutch. Okay, should we put Jay Hutch? We'll put Jay Hutch back on hold for a second. Jay Hutch, we'll put you back in the
just give me a second, yeah.
Holding room.
Well, wait a second. We'll remove you from the stream as you're trying to get your line in order, trying to get his camera in order.
Yeah, did you guys see that inning? Because it was but then all of a sudden you went on a little heat check and then got 2 more strikeouts and then you got the third guy pretty quick.
I think I would have been more worried about Curry getting 30 the way the game was going.
I know, seriously.
I know.
Seriously.
I didn't want to say anything because I was like, I thought I got the hard part out of the way, and then the way the game was going, it was like, oh my God, Curry might lead the whole game with 18.
There he is.
It was like he wasn't. But what iced it for you, Rye, was all those fouls.
Free throws,
How many did he make? 6? 6.
Yeah, I think he ended up with 32, maybe.
Yeah.
There he is. Jay Hutch.
In the
Stupid
dark.
dumbass child says, Jay Hutch, you're beautiful. There you go. You're already, people in the chat are already saying you're beautiful. Yeah, we got people. Jay Hutch, shout at me. We'll all shout out for Jay Hutch. All right, Jay, your wife does she know you're making this phone call?
No, she's asleep.
Okay. How many hours has she been asleep?
Since 10:30, 11.
10:30 Central Time, right?
Yes.
So hours. It's hours. You're in your man cave right now, or you almost look like you're in like a closet. Are you in the man
It's
cave?
just my office.
Oh, your office. All right. Look at this. This is
Yeah,
where all the
it's-
business gets done. Post-its are
Stuff
neat.
here.
Look at that. Baseball bats. Got everything. Look at you. You're the
Wow.
man.
It's actually here. Take a look at this bat.
Let's see. What do you got?
We all
See-
know the heartbreak of 2002, but
Ooh, that's the 2002 Giant bat with all the signatures.
yep.
That's nice. That's a
Mm.
nice little nugget right there.
Am I seeing a Mets logo there? What is that?
No, it's the giant flag
Yeah.
that has
Oh,
all the different
New- oh,
logos.
yeah,
That's
New York
those
Giants.
are cool.
Okay.
Those are
That's the New
cool.
York Giants.
And then a Willie Mays bat too.
Signed?
It's
at that.
not signed.
Adirondack. Takes me back. That might have been a bat day bat. Where'd
Yeah,
you
I
get
had
that one? Where'd you get that, J Hutch?
My father-in-law gave it to me.
Yeah, I bet you he went to bat day one of those days in the 60s or 70s.
You know, we had bats with look back, we had grown up, we'd play we called it over the line or Indian ball, whatever you want. But we were out there
That's no
playing
longer
ball.
politically correct, by the way.
Yeah, I know exactly. So now it's like over the line, or I guess guardian ball, I guess it's called now.
Nobody sits Indian style anymore. It's crisscross applesauce. All right, just let you know. Just let you know.
But we had a bat that was George Herman Ruth. Yeah, George the Babe, and all our bats were taped and they had cracks in them. You know, we'd break them and we just tape them up and we'd go out there and play. And I had a collection of baseball cards that were used as spokes in my bike. You know, put the mom's clothes.
You know what cards I used to love? I used to love those cards that if you moved them like this, it had a little play to it. They were in the Kellogg's like Raisin Bran. Do you guys remember them?
Yeah. They were in
And
the
it had a
little
it was like
cellophane wrap, and
the holographic
like
cards.
the background looked like kind of like 3D almost, and if you moved it, it looked like the guy was kind of moving. Those were great cards. I mean, me and my brother used to fight it out for those cards. Who would get the Raisin Bran card?
I did some dumb things. I won one time. I called in to Dr. Don Rose on KFRC, and I
love
I got
Don Rose.
I got the call. It was like you're the sixth caller or whatever, and so you get to pick whatever group or artist that you can pick. You get all their albums, right?
Right.
And so I picked the Beatles, and I had like 29, 30 albums. And one of my teachers at school, one of my football coach and everything, he says, "Hey, I'll buy those off you. $90."
Wow.
What do you think they're worth today if they were unopened?
Seriously.
Ugh.
Funny you say calling to Dr. Don Rose. I used to call a couple times when I was in junior high. We used to call into the guy on KTVU. It was called TV Pow. Do you guys remember TV Pow?
Yeah.
And basically, there was just like these little things that would go across the screen, and it was on like a 7-second delay. But you would have to go pow 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 pow, and every time you said pow, a bullet would fire, and so you would shoot these things across and occasionally you get these people in there, and they'd be like pow, pow.
Oh.
Pow. It's like they didn't get it. And I was like a sixth grader. I'd be like, come on. Pow, 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 you know, come on. And
You got your
Pow.
start in broadcasting right there.
Exactly. That's where the magic started right there, as I started flexing my muscles in the TV Pow game with Pat McCormick, I think was the guy who hosted it.
Yeah.
All right, back to Murfreesboro. Let's not lose focus on this segment here. Wife is sleeping. Giants won. Warriors won. How you feeling?
Feeling great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good win for the Giants. What's your solution, Jay Hutch, on Joey Bart? We're kind of throwing out ideas. Rye was smart enough to dig up all the FanGraph stats. You can see the guy's striking out 45% of the time. What do you do? What do you do? Do you farm him out? Do you give him another week? Do you trade him? Danny doesn't want to trade him, but he's got to be farmed out, right?
I've wanted Vermuto for a long time.
You want JT Real Muto?
Yeah, but I don't think Philly's going to give him up.
I don't see that happening.
I don't know. I feel like you give Joey till the end of May.
End of May. Well, yeah. See that. So okay. No. Jay Hutch is sounding reasonable. I think that his answer is the most reasonable. It's like you don't overreact to April, and he broke north with the club. You give him a couple months, but it's May 10th, and he's in a free fall. And if you wait till June 1st, what if he's hitting 068 at that point? See, right now he's striking out. He's hurting the team. I don't know what the solution is. I would not trade him.
No, I wouldn't trade him. But
I wouldn't trade him either because what if Casale gets hurt? What if someone gets hurt?
What if he figures it out and becomes a 40 home run hitter?
Yeah, the FOMO. Couldn't deal with it.
No, we already missed out on Connor Joe.
That's right, Connor Joe, who used to bat like this, and now he's over here. But he looks good in Colorado's
Little League trophies, right?
Yeah, seriously, he was facing the pitcher like this with us, and now he's. I
do think Bart will figure it out at some point and become a 20 home run guy. He's got so much power, like I say. And
there's no way he can't hit a few out.
He's hit 3 this year, right?
Oh, he hit that bomb on opening day. It looked like, oh my goodness, this guy's gonna be awesome. I think I said the next day, I think he's gonna be rookie of the year.
Yep. I had
I said it too.
rookie of the year. I had
rookie of the year.
I had Webb and Rodon just battling it out for the Cy.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Rodon.
I have a little topic also on Rodon.
Go ahead.
Secretly,
$400.
I'm kind of noticing this little. I'm kind of having fun paying a little bit of attention to Gosman and Rodon v. Gosman on the air. They've both been phenomenal. I think Gosman has a 40.
To me, that was the best move of Farhan's offseason. I agree. He did not pay Gosman $100 million. He got
5 years.
2 years of $44 million for Rodon. I think he got the better pitcher in the present, and he got the shorter contract.
Who's older?
Gosman by 2 years. But everybody, give me a number because it's going to be big. But what do you think Gosman's strikeout to walk ratio is right now?
I'll say 10-1.
I'll say
strikeout to walk ratio.
I'll say 8-1.
I'll say 4-1.
How about 46-1?
Did I say 4? I meant 46.
Yeah, he's got 46 Ks and 1 walk on the year.
Can I have a
one walk on the year?
Oh my God.
I know.
Can I have a second chance at that? 46-1, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, ratio. But I thought I was thinking you were talking like K ratio in a game per game.
It's not sustainable, but I mean that's still pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, game like 9 to. Well, it's got to be. If he's only got 1 walk on the year, it's got to be like 9 to 0.2 or something.
Yeah, I mean he's got 46 strikeouts, 38 innings pitched. He's leading He's leading the league in innings pitched. He's 3 wins, 1 loss, 2-1-3.
I just wonder if he'll be able to sustain it. He was awesome last year, the first half, and then the second half he was. Once he lost his.
If today you could get Gosman for Rodon, would you make that move?
No.
I wouldn't.
But it's kind of fun.
I prefer Rodon. Rodon's better. I agree with Jimmy.
Yeah.
But right now, if you were to
had a page, by the way,
high page. If like Bleacher Report was to like put out a stupid article about like who's the Cy Young through like 1 month of the year, it would probably be Rodon and Gosman. I would say
he's on the Blue Jays, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting a lot of run support.
Yeah,
that is that Blue Jay team. If there was one team, I'm a Giants fan, so I want to watch the Giants. And I saw somebody came up today and said, like, this Giant team is freaking boring and they're unwatchable and it's garbage and blah, blah, blah. I get it. There's not Bonds. There's not Kent. There's not Burks. There's not a lot of highlight guys. But if I watch the Giants every night because I'm rooting for the Giants because I'm a Giants fan. But if I could pick one team in baseball to watch every day,
Vlad Jr.
It would be Toronto. Vladdy and just all the hitters they got, and just
I just remember, I'm only 30, so I'm a little young, but
right
growing up watching Pujols, Vlad Sr., Sosa, McGuire, all those guys, but watching Vlad Guerrero hit the way that he would just smoke a ball.
You talking about his dad?
Yeah, his dad.
Oh yeah,
one
of the best bad ball hitters I think I've ever seen.
Won the home run derby at AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
He was awesome.
I was there, by the way.
Me too.
I was
really hoping to see Griffey, and then he backed out.
I remember Vladdy with the Expos. I can remember playing at Candlestick, and I remember seeing him in the on-deck circle thinking, look at this guy. This guy's ridiculous. He's like 6'4", ridiculous broad shoulders, tiny waist at that time. He eventually put on some pounds, but young Vladdy was like ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I just look at Vlad Jr. and I'm just like, he is exactly his dad, thicker, stronger. Like, he just tanks balls. It's just exciting to watch him.
Ryan, Jimmy Plant says, Ryan, are you a Giants fan as well?
Oh, absolutely. New York Giants through. No, I'm a huge San Francisco Giants fan.
Wait, I'm a Bay Area guy. He's a Bay Area guy. He went to Akalani's.
Campo.
Well, either way, family money, either one. But good schools in the East Bay.
Wait, I've got a fun thing to share. Get ready. Sorry,
this is a great one right here. Mark Graves is somewhere the Razor is saying, I want Vladdy. Mark Graves, fist in the air on that one. Ralph is up there saying, I want Vladdy. I miss Ralph. Ralph was my buddy.
I remember this play. I remember this play.
It's like a compilation of him hitting the crazy, like that ball bounced.
Yeah.
That ball bounced. Oh,
he's one of the greatest bad ball hitters of all time.
Oh, jeez.
He hit it off the ground.
Yes.
I never saw that highlight.
I feel like Pablo just
tomahawk that. Look at that. Just rides that out to right field. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That thing's over his shoulders.
That swing. Just all upper body.
Yeah. Oh, ridiculous outside pitch. Takes it to center field.
Do you think he peed on his hands or?
I cannot speculate.
Oh, that was to win the game.
Did you guys, by the way, we're watching Camden right here. Did you guys see that they changed Camden?
No.
Have you guys?
Oh yeah. Is it that little?
They moved Camden. They moved the fence back and they moved it up. So it used to be a total bandbox, and it probably still is. But in right center, they moved the fence. I think they moved it back and they moved the fence up. So it's like almost like a little mini green monster.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, reminding, watching the Angels there, Vladdy. That's another team that's going
nowhere.
Healthy. Well, they're healthy and they're playing well. I mean, Ohtani.
They got pitching this year. They actually went out some pitching.
And
did you guys
Taylor
know
Ward.
what Ohtani did tonight?
What's that?
Grand Salami.
2 home runs.
Oh, 2.
And a grand slam.
Who are you talking about?
Ohtani.
Oh, yeah. Shohei.
They have somebody that's like leading the league in batting average, right?
Taylor Ward's hitting 364.
Yeah.
And they got him and Trout and Ohtani and then Walsh.
And Rendon isn't even hitting.
Walsh. Rendon, you mean? Yeah. Rendon that's another look, a signing that, why you don't give guys 7-year, $30+ million a year contracts. I mean, he had a great year in 19 with the Nationals, and he's done nothing for the Angels. He had a walk-off hit the other day, actually against the Nationals. But Rendon is right now batting .206, 3 home runs.
Why do these teams keep doing this? The last year, the Giants were incredible. Incredible, right? I think we'd all agree. Incredible last year.
Amazing.
107 wins. The one thing that, if you look at last year's Giants team, they had a ridiculous number of guys who were in their walk year.
Wait,
That's what you want in the big leagues. You want to have a good year? Get a bunch of guys in their walk year. Don't get guys who have 5 guaranteed years left. Get guys in their walk year and get a lot of them. I've been watching Giants baseball for decades. I can't remember a team that had as many guys as last year's team had that were playing for a contract, that were free agents at the end of the year.
Well, I'll tell you that,
it seems like it would be an instability thing, and you wouldn't want that because everybody could be playing for stats. But in reality, what you do, you have guys who are hungry, who have to play, who have to earn that salary because they're free agents at the end of the year. The Giants last year, I mean, counted up, there were a ton of guys on their roster that were done at the end of the year, that were either headed to arbitration or they were free agents at the end of the year. To me, it was probably the most I've seen in a long time. And look what the Giants got out of it. They had an incredible year. So I'm kind of a believer now that I'm not saying I would never sign a free agent contract, but I'd rather pay an absurd, absurd amount and get those guys on a short-term deal. I'd rather pay somebody $30 million instead of 25 and get them for 2 years at 60 instead of, some big term, 5-year deal at
5 year at 100 or
right.
and 20 or something.
Give me a shorter deal with
Absolutely.
average AAV, the higher average AAV every day over 5-year deal, 6-year deal, 7-year deal. The Johnny Cueto deal that Robert Evans signed him to was a 6-year deal with a 2-year with it out after the second year.
How old was he when they did that?
I think 30.
Yeah,
like that. Maybe 31.
I think he was like 28 or something, wasn't he?
Was he?
29?
I thought he was 30.
I think he's only about 34, 30. He's 35 or 36. He's probably close to 30. Yeah, close to it. Listen to these stats. And since we're talking about contracts, I'm just going to read a few of these for the consistency. See if you can see who this player is. A batting average, 340.
Is it a Giants player?
I'm not going to say who it is.
Okay.
Let's see if you can get
Danny's not giving away any hint. This is not some kindergarten show. This is the bigs.
Yeah. Let me look at the home runs here. 345, 41 home runs. 319, 51 home runs. 296, 36 home runs. 333, 35 home runs. 347, 29 home runs. 313, 34 home runs. 319, 29 home runs. You're getting an idea. Larry will get this. 308, 40 home runs. 304, 49 home runs. 314, 38 home runs. 296, 47 home runs. 317, 52. 52.
Willie Mays. Willie Mays. When you said 52 home runs, I knew that was a giveaway.
But this guy, they used to sign 1-year contracts. A lot of these guys, they'd play on 1 year and they'd renew a contract.
Amazing.
But they didn't have free agency.
Right.
So they didn't sign these guys to 5, 8, 10-year contracts. You look at almost every guy that's been signed to a big contract, and
it's human nature. You put your feet up. If I gave you guys some big money, long-term guaranteed deal, you wouldn't work as hard as you worked prior.
I'm not preparing for the show, man. I'm just
even other sports, like you look at like Mike Williams, like that guy. How many times did were we forecasting him to just be a stud? And then last year it seemed like he finally really put it all together. Last year there's a contract. Now he's got a big contract. I don't want him in fantasy football. Same thing, same deal.
Talk about the receiver for the Chargers.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard someone win the lotto and then within 5 years they're filing for bankruptcy?
Well, that's because they don't know Dan, Coach Emilio.
That's true.
That should never happen, Danny. Never. No. In fact, the best 30 for 30 is the one on athletes pissing away their fortunes. Have you guys seen that one? It is
No.
That is a phenomenal 30 for 30. Danny, if I were you, I would show, if I ever represented any kind of professional athlete, I'd want to show him that video and just be like, hey, look how many guys, whatever, invested in a restaurant or some NASCAR team or just something frivolous and threw away tens of millions of dollars in the process. Don't do it. Don't buy a NASCAR team. Don't buy racehorses. Don't open a restaurant. And by the way, stupid dumbass child said, you guys saw we let go of Carlos Martinez. Did you guys see that? They signed Carlos Martinez in spring training. He's now signed with the Red Sox. He's out. I don't know if he wanted out or if I thought he was at AAA rehabbing to get ready to be called up, kind of like Matthew Boyd. Somebody's asking, or stupid dumbass child says, when is Matthew Boyd coming back? Does anybody have an idea when Boyd's?
Late June, probably.
Late June. See, that was a great pickup. They got him, and by late June, he'll be back or he'll be up. And now it'll be like a trade.
Contracts and money. Did you see the article the other day about Jason Tatum not spending $1 from his $30 million rookie contract?
Really? No.
I mean, I'm guessing it's because of he just uses endorsement money.
Is he living on per diem, or what's he living on?
He must be. He's probably living on that and his endorsements, but he hasn't spent $1 from his $30 million contract.
Smart.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, Duke. Duke.
Yeah,
guy, huh?
I mean that's smart. I mean, if you take care of your money, you don't have to go check with Dan Coach Emilio in the middle of life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta seriously. I mean, these guys get a lot of money. The key is don't start spending at the level when you're making your most money. If you're making whatever you're making is the high point, don't establish your spending traits based, when you're making your most.
Oh yeah.
Because that's when you're going to lose it.
Michael Vick, I had a friend who actually, a friend of a friend was handling Michael Vick's accounts from here in Arizona. And, back when he got caught up in all the dog things and stuff like that. Ring. Yeah, but he pulled all of his money out of his investments and he was broke, So, I mean.
Very sad.
The guys that remind me of these guys that box, that like that need a fight because they're broke. And so they got to go out there at 40 and get their head beat in for 12 rounds or whatever, and then they make
the great Joe Louis was in tax hell. If you believe the story, if you read all the bios on Joe Louis, what a great career he had, but he just got deeper and deeper and deeper into problems with the IRS. And eventually he just, basically every penny that he had was taken away from him. Mark Graves says the story of Steve Young not cashing checks from the USFL. The great story is we had Steve on the radio and his mom was at the game. He was at the he was playing for the LA Express. And I think she was down there in the stands at the LA Coliseum. And people were saying, he makes $40 million. You should be better than this. You're making $40 million. And his mom was so cute. She was yelling from the stands, it's an annuity. It's an annuity. In other words, he doesn't have it all right now. But supposedly Brent Jones, they tell the story of when him and Steve were roommates, and Steve used to take his game checks, and throw them in a drawer. They were like in a drawer in his apartment because he was living off of LA Express money.
How about speaking of money, Ryan, I got somebody else's name on my mind, but Ryan, you made a good bet tonight, but think about what Phil Mickelson's gambling debt was. Did you hear that one?
No, I've heard about Barkley.
Phil Mickelson suffered a staggering gambling loss of $40 million over 4 years, said his biographer. $40 million debt.
That's
some serious gambling.
Taking a meeting, man. Get to a Gamblers Anonymous
GA,
meeting.
yeah. Time to hit
Seriously.
GA, yeah.
Time to hit the meeting. All right, we got to. Speaking of us, we got to call this to a close because Ryan's
real quick.
Hey, what time do you work, Hutch? Hutch, what time do you work tomorrow?
Yeah, what time are you getting up tomorrow?
Tomorrow probably like 8.
8 Central.
It's 2:39. And when do you get a chance to see your wife much?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm not having to do some marital counseling or anything
Yeah.
We're good.
with Hutch in the man cave at 2:39 while the wife sleeps for the last 4 hours.
This is Jay Hutch. He's got it all. He's got all the answers figured out. Go ahead, Jay Hutch. Your final comment of the night before we let Ryan get his beauty sleep.
So, Giants Twitter and everyone, is all freaking out and everything, especially over the 5-game losing streak. Last 3 games, they've scored 25 runs on 27 hits and 6 home runs. They're heating up. Guys, relax.
Jay Hutch, have a great night, my man.
See you guys.
I think it's those bats in his man cave that got the Giants going. Anytime
you go with the relax, that's just very strong.
It.
All right, let's go. Let's thank our sponsors. Dan Coach Emilio, retirement planning specialist, securemoney.com. Danny is at 925-628-9966. Dan, you're a sponsor of this show and you're a retirement planning specialist, and you've been doing this for 25 years. And just give people an idea. If they call 925-628-9966 or at some point this season, go to securemoney.com and connect with you. What's that experience going to be like? How's it going to go?
Yeah, very seamless, painless, just a very relaxing call.
Relax.
Yeah, I'm just gonna find out a little bit about what your goals are, what you want to accomplish, and help you to plan for retirement, or if you're already retired, just look to put away and protect some of those assets. The market is kind of been in a free fall here of late, and I personally see things being kind of rough here in 2022.
The 8.7% inflation rate's going up.
Well, that and the markets, have been taking a pretty good drop lately. It could continue. We just don't know what the markets are going to do. But the one thing that I do for all my clients is your money is secure. You cannot lose any of your principal investment due to market losses. So the worst that you can do is 0% in a bad year. So if the market loses 10, 20, 30%, you might not make anything, but you don't lose anything. So that's the key to sustained growth and never outgrowing your money. That's the problem. A lot of people, they invest in the markets, and they have 100% there. And if they have a bad turn in the market and they're using their money for income, you've got to, if you have 100,000, for example, and the market loses 50%, you're down to 50,000. Now you got to make 100% to get back to where you were, because 50% of 50,000 is only $25,000. So, when you have a big loss, it takes a huge gain to get back to your losses. You'll never experience that. So give me a call if that interests you, and I'll be glad to talk with you.
SecureMoney.com on the website, and 925-628-9966 is Dan's number. And he's got 25 years of experience, and it's not a one-size-fits-all deal. He'll sit down with you, consult with you to figure out a good strategy to get you where you want to go. So we appreciate Dan for being our sponsor, and we also appreciate Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics.co. Casey, is not a regular on the show like Danny is, because that's not his interest, but Casey is running Telmetrics.co. And if you're an orthopedic surgeon or an occupational therapist, a chiropractor, or a physical therapist, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more for all your sports injury needs, as well. If you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, be sure that you go to the website, telmetrics.co. That's TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman for being our sponsor as well. And we also want to remind you to be sure to hit the like and subscribe button.
I made a fun graphic for our new sponsor.
Oh, what do we got? Let's see it. Oh, that's right, Caceres. So we have merch now. We have merchandise. That on the far left there, you see the Krueg Show podcast T-shirts, and you can buy them right now. That one's a little wrinkled, but it's really a good-looking shirt, and it's our logo, and we want everybody to buy them. We're not making money on it on the shirt at all. It's and where can you find them? Well, if you're in the Bay Area, you can find them at Caceres Italian Menswear. They are at 925-560-0400. But more importantly, their physical location is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California, 94568. Tony Casera, who is our good friend and a sponsor of the show, has printed up a bunch of these Krueg Show podcast shirts, and you can get them there. So really a good-looking shirt, I think, one that I would definitely wear, and thanks to Tony for having them there at Caceres. And I would encourage all of our Bay Area fans who are here in this market to stop by Caceres Italian Menswear in Dublin and pick up a Krueg Show T-shirt. And if they run out, just they'll order more, and we appreciate you being a supporter of our show. And there's lots of different ways to support the show. You can support our sponsors. We really love that. If you use Dan Coach Emilio, if you use Telmetrics, if you go to Caceres Italian Menswear and shop our sponsors, we would love that. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and be extra sure to hit that notification bell so you can catch all of the upcoming Krueg shows. I love all you guys, and I appreciate it. I'm having a lot of fun. Thanks for supporting my channel, The Krueg Show. Thanks to Len, who's in Portugal right now with his wife on vacation. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to our sponsors, Danny and Casey, and all the good people at Telmetrics, and of course at Dan's company as well, and securemoney.com. And then thanks to all the people at who have participated in the show. We've had been on to, this is the longest live stream we've ever done.
Yeah.
This is the longest one ever. We're 5 minutes to 3 hours.
June's usually big wedding month. They have suits and everything at Caceres and all
They
that?
have suits. If let's say you have a high school student that needs a tuxedo for the prom, they'll outfit you in tuxedos. They have phenomenal suits. I just bought one there myself. I went 3-piece tan suit with the white shirt, and it's just kind of a linen look. It's a great summertime suit. But thanks to the people at Caceres for sponsoring our show as well. And thanks to all of you. Thanks to all of you. I mean, we're having fun. As you can tell, we're on here after the post games, and tonight was like a combo post game, but it's so much fun to get in here and talk with real fans who have real opinions about the Giants, the Niners, the Warriors. We did a ton on the draft. Tomorrow on the show, just so you know, we're back at it. In fact, tomorrow at 10 a.m., we're going to do a live stream with Jake Hutchinson, who works for KBR.com and wrote a great piece on the 49er draft. He's going to be with us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And then tomorrow night, after game 2, Giants Rockies, we'll be doing this again. I can't promise that we'll go 3 hours. Who knows? It might be 30 minutes, but we'll be in this space after the game, and we'll be here all year. So check us out. We got tremendous momentum, lots of people showing interest in the show. We've had over 100 people in the room for the beginning, and now here we are 3 hours in, almost at 1 o'clock in the morning. We still have close to 100 people in the room. So I just want to say to everybody, I really appreciate the support, and I really appreciate the support of the channel, the support of me and Ryan and Dan and Len and all the things that we're doing here at the Krueg Show. So I'm loving it. And guys, you have a final thought before we hit the sounder and call it a night? Ryan, why don't we start with you, since you're probably dozing off the quickest. You got a final thought on this one? Giants win, Warriors win, Bay Area sports fans won. It was a great night.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a Buster Posey day. Just turned everything around, and now everything's coming up Bay Area, which is great. Also, just for another milestone, I know we're coming up on 4,000 subscribers. I think we should get that this week.
Yes. By the way, we should mention that we have a huge number of people who watch the show on YouTube. Some people watch it on Twitter. If you're one of those people that watches the show on Twitter, if you could do us a favor and go over to YouTube and click that like and subscribe button and be a subscriber, that would help the show as well. As Ryan said, we've only been doing this for a little bit under 6 weeks, I believe. and maybe not even. And we've got 4,000. We're closing in on 4,000 subscribers. So I can't even tell you how that makes me feel. And I just appreciate it. And all the people who have supported us, man, we're thrilled that you're here, and we'll be back tomorrow. So guys, great stuff tonight. A lot of laughs, a lot of fun. For Danny and Ryan, I'm Larry. Have a great rest of your night, everybody.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah, we ain't never fall back. Hold our ground where we at.